Yeah. You broke a shaking them up. Whoa. Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke?
Temperatures going up, the heat is rising. Scholars are showing up, audience vibing. We on a mission, competition is the only desire. Whose information will be facing the unmerciful fire? So what's up, stand up, can you walk through hell? So tough, too tough for the weak, soft shell. Set the fire, fan the flame, smoke is rising in plumes. While the inexperienced debater starts to choke on the fumes. Bring your science, bring your wisdom, even bring us your religion. If you cannot stand the heat, then please don't come in the Paul's kitchen. This is session, learn a lesson, fight and overcome your fear. Who will be the best debates by the time all the smoke clears? Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke? Smoke session, smoke session, smoke session, smoke sessions.
The HOK is the toughest environment, and are at your own risk is the toughest environment. The HOK is the toughest environment. Yeah, stay strong, don't cry. It's the toughest environment. Yeah. No handouts here. You have to earn your respect. And when you do, you make they ass regret. They call it the toughest, and the title is earned from the bridges we crossed and the lessons we learned. In a cool-blooded kingdom, a concrete cage. Muslim, Christian, Israelites step on the stage. I dare you, I dare you, I dare you, I dare you. In a cool-blooded kingdom, sa.neter created. HOK, where you can't fake it. The HOK is where you fight back. No room for error, no window attack. It's a masterclass, how you handle the heat. Where the pedigree is written on the concrete streets. Toughest environment, yeah, we know the score. Locked in on debate and asking for more. The HOK is the toughest environment. Enter at your own risk is the toughest environment. The HOK is the toughest environment. Stay strong, don't cry. It's the toughest environment.
Like the video, thumb up the video. Peace and Black Power family. How y'all doing out there? We got a good show for y'all today. First of all, I want to let y'all know that Bro Sanchez is FBA. He claims FBA, but he's going in on FBA today. Because I think the brother said to me yesterday that he don't like the way FBA is running around supporting ICE. So we're going to get into a little bit of that and see what's going on. We're just waiting on him to hit the panel. We're just waiting on the brother to come in, hit the panel, and we're going to get it in. So the FBA, ICE, you know, Sanchez got some smoke for all that. I wish I can call in. Well, you can hit the panel. You ain't got to call in. You can hit the panel if you can, you know. You can hit the panel. So, no, I don't see you in the back, brother. I'm in the back. No, you're not. Now I see you. Okay, I got you. Okay, so as y'all see, we got the Bro Sanchez in the building. And like I was saying yesterday, the brother is FBA. He just don't like the way FBA is moving right now as far as supporting the ICE movement. What's going on, brother? You got a slideshow for the family or what?
Well, this one ain't really gonna require a slideshow because
it's
just some basic points, and I will bring up some references, though, some statistics that I put up for some of these points, though. Let me share the screen on my end real quick.
Right.
Sorry about that.
Yes, sir. Did you send the link out to the brothers, to the other fam?
I'm about to post it in my chat right now.
Okay, good.
All right. Matter of fact, oh yeah, I can just copy it from yours right here. Boom.
Yeah, the people saying they love ICE. They're in the
but
chat,
you know,
they're saying I love ICE in Texas.
Well, the thing is, a lot of our people, sa.neter, love ICE because they feel like illegal immigrants is a threat to our jobs. You know, this is the main argument, and I ain't mad at them for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what career field a person is in, and maybe it is a threat to their job. But I do know that when the illegal immigrants was getting laid off on the West Coast, all of the fruit farmers was like, we don't have no one to work for us. Where the Negroes at who want the jobs, you know? So that was the thing. I don't think that illegal immigrants have ever stopped me from getting my money. I'm gonna just say that now. I think it's an insult to even put that on us. Like when we talk about illegal immigrants, it's the reason Black folks can't get ahead or in some kind of way interfering with Black folks' success. I think it's looking for an easy enemy to fight on versus these JEWS, these small hats, right? Because let's talk about one of our biggest intellectual properties. Let's start with hip hop, right? Because that's something that's Black folks that we know makes billions of dollars every year, right? So watch this. Most Black rappers don't own their intellectual property. They don't own their masters. And it ain't because illegal immigration. It's because of Zionism. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to talk about the J word. I'm going to be mild with it. I'm going to speak in code because I'm going to protect sa.neter's channel. You know what I'm saying? But real talk, we got to keep it real. The biggest threat to America right now is not really illegal immigration because you got a whole nother country in this land right now that's flying a flag next to the American flag. It's white and it got a blue star in the middle of it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the tiny hats.
Right. And that flag is undermining American people. So when people say that, well, I'm being undermined by some tether, I can stand with my FBA brothers and I can relate to that. But if you know, and not all people too, we call it tethers, just the ones that undermine us. What FBA is saying, sa.neter, they're saying we support ICE because they're getting the tethers out of here that be talking crap about us. You see what I'm saying? And I'm saying that ain't the truth because all of the tethers that they put on a pedestal to undermine Black people, they would never deport them. They never gonna deport their puns. They keeping them here. They're gonna deport these folks standing up in front of the Home Depot and all that who ain't stunned FBA. So they not really deporting the guy. They keeping all of their puppets over here who doing their dirty work. They ain't gonna just kick they minions out. So things that I'm saying that we been distracted with. FBA was a pro-reparation movement. And I'm seeing it slowly turn into an anti-immigration movement. So it's slowly going from pro-reparations to anti-immigration. And when Trump first ran, right, Trump had a platinum plan. You remember that? The platinum plan. Now, we heard nothing else about the platinum plan. And I said to myself, how did it just go away like that? And we ain't even hold him on it. And it hit me. Trump got in office the first time and was going hard on the immigrants and building the wall and stuff. And that was enough for our people to say, fuck the sorry. That was enough for our people to say, forget the platinum plan, man. You know, long as he's picking on the immigrants, then he don't got to give us them tangibles we requested. So my whole thing was, I'm with FBA all day. I'm not going against you. If you want to hate on the immigrants, fine. You don't got to like the immigrants, but you don't got to like ICE either. We don't got to support ICE. You know why? ICE gonna get them immigrants out of here whether you support them or not.
Let me ask you both, Sanchez. Do you have Spanish heritage in your background?
Not at all, but I want to bring up something real quick because I'm glad you asked me that, right? I get that a lot, and I want to share some information with the people that I think is very important. All right, watch this. Let me pull it up. So what people don't know about Black Americans, sa.neter, and especially a lot of FBA people, they don't know that our people have a hell of a lot of Spanish and Latina names. I'll give you an example, sa.neter. Mario is Spanish, just like Sanchez. Martez, Cortez, DeMarco, Marco, Angela, Angelina. All of these are the same place my shit come from. Antonio, Miguel, Rafael, Daniel. All of these are Spanish names. I got a homeboy named Victor, right? That's a Spanish name. So people think Sanchez is the only Spanish name in the Black community. Teresa is a Spanish name. Rosa, like Rosa Parks, that's a Spanish name. Yolanda, Spanish name. Daniela, Spanish name. So Maria, I can do this all day. I'm just making a point that don't let the name Sanchez throw y'all off. I'm Black all the way. You know what I'm saying? We just got Spanish names as a people.
Right.
So
I feel you.
Yeah. So what I would say, what the last thing I said was very important, sa.neter, because I want you to just let this sink in for a minute. I had a debate with FBA on my channel. And a lot of them was telling me, sa.neter, they were saying, you ain't FBA if you don't support ICE. But I was like, I thought we said we couldn't kick nobody out of a lineage. I thought we said we couldn't kick nobody out. That's when I started saying, what is this turning into? Because within FBA, you're going to have Democrats, Republicans, you're going to have different groups. But to me, can't none of these groups try to infiltrate FBA and turn it into a liberal movement, a conservative movement. It got to maintain itself as a reparations movement. And as a reparations movement, it's not catering to the left or right until they cut the check. So that means if we lean into the right or the left and ain't nobody cut the check, that's why Trump didn't have to come through with the platinum plan. All they got to do is pick on the people we mad at, and then they don't got to come through for our tangibles because now they just win us over doing that. So I was saying, look, we don't even got to support ICE. Most of the people in ICE are Proud Boys. They lineage can be traced back to people that was hanging our folks, you know, torturing our folks. So my whole thing is, if I don't gotta support ICE, why would I give my enemy free support when he gonna get rid of these immigrants anyway, whether I support him or not? So to me, it's just showing that a lot of our people just want to lean to the right anyway. Because why would you? Because think about this. They say, well, ICE is indirectly helping us, so we should support them. Guess what? We indirectly help the enemy every day, and he don't support us. We indirectly help these, especially the small hats. We help them every day, and they'll never support you. So we know ICE ain't getting the immigrants out of here for Black people. So even if we benefit for what they doing, we don't got to support our enemy. It's doing too much, if you ask me. And that's why I'm drawing a line at with FBA, because it's like they're desperate to find reasons to lean to the right. They looking for any reason to hop over here with this Trump movement, with this ICE movement. And I'm saying, bro, what about reparations? Let's stay on focus, what we got going, right? Because ICE gonna do their job anyway. They don't need your help, bro, is what I was saying. So, you know, again, it's going from pro-reparations to anti-immigration. If you on my side, the link is pinned. This is an open call. So if anybody on my side would actually like to hop on here with me and sa.neter right now, come on up, because I know I got a lot of FBA people on my side that disagree with me. So they'll be hopping on in a minute, by the way, sa.neter, and we're going to get the smoke going. So come on, my FBA brothers. I'm FBA. I love y'all, but we wrong about this one, man. And so my whole thing is this right here. Illegal immigrants ain't never stopped the black man's paper in this country. You'll be lying if you said that. We gonna get money regardless of illegal immigrants. So if you want to talk about what's stopping us as a people from getting to the next level, it's them small hats. That's why you can't own football teams, basketball teams. That's who's setting a threshold to keep you right here and not go no further. Immigrants ain't got the power to do that. So I'm not saying you can't be against immigration, but I'm saying we kind of doing too much as far as giving ICE support that it just don't need and ain't work for, ain't deserve. Our support is valuable at this point. So we got to think of it like money. Keep it in your pocket. I ain't going to spend my money if I ain't got to. If somebody tell me that shit's free, then I'm going to keep my money in my pocket. So if ICE don't get the illegal immigrants out of here anyway, keep your support, save our energy, and let's use it for us. You see what I'm saying? Because once you know that, now you're just voluntary over there with the Proud Boys for what? And they'll say, well, we're supporting ICE to make them mad because they was joking on us when, you know, the man had his foot on our neck, right? So, but I would say, well, that to me is kind of childish then, if we're just using the slave master to get back at each other. That's like kids that's getting a whooping from their parents and they joking on each other while the other one getting his butt whooped. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at that. It's like a slave mentality to where the slave master now got us beefing with each other because we can't see that the country being ran to hell by small hats who using our young kids to go fight, who using our tax dollars and resources to go and take Greenland, the Gaza Strip, and you ain't gonna reap no benefits from none of that.
Let me ask you, what do you say to people that say more black men need to join ICE?
Well, what I'll say is this. What happens is, because I'm not going to say they wrong, I'm going to just tell you the problems that be with that. Yeah, that's a good idea when we say, well, black folks, let's infiltrate the police department. Let's infiltrate ICE, right? That's a good idea. But the problem is we can't just join these agencies and departments and not speak out, right? So who bold enough to do that? Are we going to get a bunch of black guys to join a police department and be vigilantes for black people and literally speak out against them racist white boys in that department? Are they going to do that though? Because if you just don't join and maintain the same system, we just giving them more numbers. I don't mind us joining these things and really being that good cop that say something though. If that's what we saying do, then let's do it. Don't just say that. Then we get with these forces and then just go along and get along. That's what my answer is. Yeah. So, you know, but here go another thing, sa.neter. They say there's illegal immigrants taking our jobs. The truth is that artificial intelligence is about to take all of our jobs. This is facts right here. They already got bidding contracts on the table because they about to replace doggone near the whole workforce with automation systems and robots and stuff like that. So while we were and the jobs that the illegal immigrants get, we don't want them anyway. because they're under the table jobs that's cash money, and they measly hard laboring jobs. These people can't get legit jobs because they don't have the proper paperwork, so they end up doing work we don't want to do nowhere. If you're a black man in America and you compete with an illegal immigrant for a job, I hate to say it, man, bro, you can do better. It's better jobs for us. We ain't no lower class citizens, man. We've been here. So we don't really got to compete with them for fruit picking jobs and, you know, little bitty, you know. Now, some dudes with felons, they may disagree with me. They probably say, well, man, you know, that's all I got, these low level jobs. You know what I'm saying? But I do think
if anybody want to come in, you got to cam up so I can see who you are. You got to cam up. Let me see you.
I like what FBA stand for, and I think it's going to grow strong. I hope it do. But I do see that it can be compromised by there being different people in FBA with different political viewpoints, religious viewpoints. You may have it infiltrated by Christians. The Christian FBAs may start bringing the Jesus into it. What I'm saying is FBA having all these different mindsets in it because it's a lineage, right? You can be whatever ideology you want. And that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. And the bad thing about it is, can you really be whatever ideology you want in FBA? Because if that's the case, then guess what? I can be a KKK member in FBA. If we can be anything we want to be in FBA, because this is what they was telling me yesterday. They was saying, but brothers can support ICE if they're FBA. They can be whatever they want to be. And we can make that argument to get out of certain situations, but it's going to shoot us in the foot if we say anybody can be whatever they want to be and be in FBA. That means they can be a tether and be in FBA. So what is the code then? Why have a code if anybody can just be what they want to be? Because the reason gang members have a code, because they say, nope, if you snitching, you can't be in this gang. If you snitching, if you doing this, if you doing, you can't be. That's to protect the group. So while that's my thing, we would say we have a code, but it's really ain't clear what the code is. And I'm gonna simplify the code. It's, you can't be supporting anything that isn't a benefit to your people. Now, listen, the question would be, is ICE a benefit to FBA? Because a person can say, well, getting the illegal immigrants out of here is a benefit to FBA. That don't mean necessarily that ICE is, though. So meaning if your police department was kicking out the illegal immigrants, would we fall in love with the police now? Because y'all like to say F the police. We don't like the cops, right? So ICE agents are beyond police officers. They like government agents. You know, it's the next level to being a police officer. So my thing is, if all it takes for us to be down, right, and support the police or law enforcement, it's for them to, like a lot of brothers was joining, they was saying, but Sanchez, these Hispanic gang members, they shooting up the blacks, these gangs and stuff. But check this out, bro. I hate when they bring the gang banging in it, because why do gangs want the help of the police for their street beefs? That shit ain't even gangster. Why would gangs say, I'm glad ICE is here? What kind of gang? You might as well call the police on niggas. So it's a lot of double talk going on. It's a lot of desperation to hop on the right train. And I want to get ahead of it and call it out before FBA fully turn into a we're turning into an anti-immigration movement.
All right. So before you get ahead of it, let me ask you, how long do you think ICE will last? Because Trump got like 2.5 more years, right? Or 3 years. He got 2.5 more years.
About 2.5.
And Trump is the one that set that whole program in motion, Chet.
Yep.
So when Trump is gone, I assume ICE might be gone. They might stop that. You think it's going to go on?
I think it's going to be like the war in Iraq. One president put our troops in Iraq, and then each president behind him, for some reason, never pull them out. Give them an inch, they'll take a mile. It's like a war front. Once my enemy gain a step forward and we move back, he going to hold that down. I don't see them removing ICE because they don't have to. The people are already saying, we so happy that ICE is here. They're celebrating. We're asking for more policing, and we don't even know it, under the guise of get the illegal immigrants out. You know, so I don't see them. Yeah, I think it might even get worse with ICE, to where they start checking IDs out at a certain time to make sure that the original people there ain't immigrants, like to where y'all now got to go through painstaking ID checks and stuff like that. It may morph to that.
So what if I say to you or ask you, do this somewhat remind you of slavery when the European was coming in, snatching up black people, snatching up people and taking them somewhere else? Do this somewhat remind you of that?
It definitely does. But here go the cold part. It reminds all of our people of that. And that's why we're celebrating that it's happening to the immigrants, because we're saying they celebrated when it happened to us.
But what immigrants was here when it was happening to us?
Now we go on to where I like to go right here, so we can point out the hypocrisy right here. Because the people that's kicking out these immigrants, sa.neter, them was the people that was beating on us and whipping us. And guess what? The immigrants that they kicking out was here before them. So that's what I'm saying is, if you think, if we step back and look at what we're doing, we're siding with the people that hung us, burnt us alive, castrated us, just because they kicking out some illegal immigrants who we think are taking our jobs. So my thing is, the people that's taking my job ain't a bigger enemy to me than the people that took the lives of my ancestors, man. You feel me? And then the way that war work is like, if me and sa.neter beefing with each other, but me and sa.neter also beefing with Billy down the street. If sa.neter catches Billy slipping and do something to him, that don't mean me and sa.neter cool. Me and sa.neter still beefing. I don't care that he beat Billy up and Billy's my enemy, because he's my enemy too. And I don't like Billy either. But see, the thing is this right here. Black folks will say white folks hung us on trees. They did all that, but they kicking out our enemy. So now we going to support the dude that.
Right.
That ain't gangster. That's why people don't take you serious. It looks very goofy. It looks like you ain't militant. It looks like you looking for a way to not have to fight the big dude, because the easier fight is the immigrants, and you looking for a way to get on the team of the big bad bully, which is ICE, the system that is oppressing not only them but us. Now, guess what? I don't care about illegal immigrants getting kicked out. I want to let that be clear. I don't care nothing about it. What I care about is us supporting the people who kicking them out.
I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Right. When they're going to kick them out without our support.
Right.
You know, so it makes it look like we just want to now be Republicans and we need an excuse to do it, other than, you know, telling the truth that it was all along FBA was going to go from pro-reparations to anti-immigration. You know, so that's what I'm seeing. And ain't nobody joining, man. On my side, the link is pinned. I'm gonna see if they can, because I see people talking crap in the chat. They might be scared.
Yeah, I need y'all to cam up if you coming in. I need to know who I'm speaking to. I need to see who I'm talking to, because you see me. So ain't no hiding over here. You got to cam up. If you want to come in and speak, you got to cam up. I think FBA, bro, Sanchez, would be more respected only if they begin to get organized. I see there's so much disorganization going with the FBA movement.
I'm not mad at it because with any new movement that's expected, and I'm not mad at what you saying either, because what new movements got to realize is that respect is gained. And in the case of organizing an organization or whatever, it's going to be gained through the more organized you get, the more respect people going to give you, like you was just saying. So I don't think FBA should look at the disrespect bad. They should look at it like a hazing that the new groups all got to go through. You a new group, you disorganized, just get organized, gain your respect. Every new group go through this, right? So my thing is, I'm not mad about, because they ain't gonna stop it. FBA gonna grow. It's gonna get big, and that's what's up. But what I'm putting out there, what I need people to realize, FBA must maintain its original agenda as a pro-reparations movement and not get distracted with nothing else, because otherwise it is morphing into something we didn't all originally sign up for. If it's a lineage-based movement that is there to repair, get reparations for the people of a particular lineage, then we should not let the system think that they've done enough. We shouldn't celebrate for them removing immigrants, because remember what we were saying, sa.neter, tangibles. Cut the check. We want tangibles. Them getting illegal immigrants out of here is not tangibles, no matter how they put it. So we shouldn't be celebrating till we get tangibles. We should stay strict to what we were saying. Stay on. To me, that's called staying on code. Stand on the mission and the agenda. We ain't an anti-immigration group. The political side of FBA that galvanized Black people was pro-reparations, not anti-immigration. Because you can be in FBA, right? And you can be for immigrants being here. But in my opinion, you can't be in FBA and say that you're against reparations, because that's what the movement was started on. The people of identifying a certain lineage who is old something from this country, who built this off our back, and they're giving more of the assets to foreign groups. So another thing I wanted to point out too, we worrying about illegal immigrants taking our jobs when most of your jobs is being moved overseas. You got American corporations, y'all Negroes wearing Jordan, right? If you wearing Jordan, they make Jordans in China, right? So imagine if they had all of these factories over here. See, when you go in a store, it's made in China, and it's going to be made by AI. Ain't no factories here. We want to worry about jobs. Let's talk about these American corporations that's allowed to move out of America and still operate as American headquarters. In my opinion, if you move your business out of America, we should treat you like a foreign corporation. Yep, sure should. Because now think about this. We won't talk about foreign corporations benefit off capitalizing off Americans while having their factories overseas. We talking about jobs, and we ain't talking about that. And the people in power rather us be bickering about small potatoes and divided amongst each other while they rip the rug out from under everybody. And I don't care if FBA got a problem with illegal immigrants. I just don't care about the illegal immigration thing, and I don't care who get kicked out or who stays. I'm worrying about us strictly staying on code and not falling for the left or the right, but staying strict to reparations, cut the check. Whether we get it or not, stand true to what we said we was about. Sa.neter, I can keep running my mouth, man. So if you don't cut in, I got a lot of, hey, if you're on my end too, hop on. We had a 5-panel last night, man. I'd like to see some of y'all hop back up. It was fire. So I'm going to just keep on going here, man, because about these corporations having their businesses overseas, that is why, what you think happened to Detroit? the automobile industry. It ain't that we don't have an automobile industry. It's just that we have a bunch of American cars that ain't made in America. So all of the stuff we consume, all of the corporations that are doing business with us, they're not really employing us. So watch this. It's not that people taking your jobs in the form of illegal immigration. It's that the corporations already move all the legit factory jobs overseas. These the jobs black folks wanted. We want the automobile job. This is what made and stabilized the family in Detroit, stuff like that. The factory jobs, that's the big money. So if someone working at a factory today is probably Amazon, it's probably something like that, you know, companies like that. You don't have these big factory operations with these big rosters for positions that can hire tens of thousands of people in different tax brackets. That's what built America. If you want to know why inflation is hitting so hard, it's because we can't even recompensate with legitimate employment. The jobs that's out there now are really the lowest quality, man. Really, I would debate that our forefathers had a better workforce than what we have today. And that's why everybody want to be vloggers and rappers and all that. So it's just crazy how they got us looking at the small things while they do really drive this country to hell in a handbasket with this Zionism. And that's what I see with FBA. I see us getting distracted with stuff that benefits them. And it only benefits us a little bit if they get the illegal immigrants out. Because my thing is this, sa.neter. Illegal immigrants been undermining us black folks for a long time. Not all, but for a long time. And they ain't got them out to now. So they do stuff when they get ready, when it benefit them, and we get happy. And I'm the type dude that be like, took you long enough. I'm cocky. I'm bougie. And I want black people to get their bougie spirit in them, because that's what the small hats got. No matter how much America give to Israel, is never enough. She's like a bougie woman. She want more and more. And this is how black folks need to be. Guess what? Okay, you getting illegal immigrants out of here? I don't care. It ain't enough. Cut the check. It ain't enough. We got to be bougie, black folks. We got to demand more, because they can give you crumbs and then we start doing the Tootsie Roll. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, brother, and I want your take on it. And not just because I'm sitting here in front of you. Some people get it mixed up. Some say that I'm FBA. Some say that I'm not. Tariq Nasir, I spoke to him. He said, nah, you FBA, sir. And then some others say you're not. That's what I mean by organization. Y'all need like a 10-point program when you're moving in, so everybody could be on the same page and follow some order here. So let me ask you, my father is Puerto Rican. My mother is African American. I've been living with my mother all my life, not my father. What would you say that I am? And keep it a buck. I mean, you're not hurting my feelings. I just like to see where your take is at.
And this just my take.
Yes.
I look at you as, you know how we look at a mixed kid that's half black, half white, but the mixed kid is in a good position because they can identify with whatever part they want, and they don't got to choose one. They can identify with both. You in a good position because you are FBA. But guess what? If you don't want to identify as FBA and just go with your Caribbean background or whatever, then you can do that too. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, if you were to identify as Caribbean and FBA, you couldn't undermine your FBA side with your Caribbean side. Nobody will be mad at that. I'm pretty sure it's some guys in FBA that has like Jamaican mother, you know, Haitian mother, but they're on code. their own code. You can have a dude that got a black mama, black daddy, and saying, listen, I'm over here with the far right Charlie Kirk people. I'm against these Negroes. So I look at it, I look at the code at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me ask you, here's another question now. I got to ask you this. With FBA on the rise and coming in as a new movement, could this be more confusion because we already have the biggest identity crisis when it comes to people, family, right? We are Hebrews, Muslims. We claim Native American. Oh, I'm Kemet. I'm ancient Kemet. I'm African American. I'm ADOS. I'm black. Now we have FBA. Is that more confusion that we going by? Because now we have something else to fight towards. What are we going to be as a people moving forward?
I think we can look at FBA as a broad umbrella to cloak all of us under. You can look at it as no different than pan-Africanism, you know, because all of these groups you just named are exclusive identities for certain groups of black folks, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't have nothing that just cloaks everyone under one umbrella but pan-Africanism. And when it does that, it don't put FBA in our respected position based upon how much these other groups benefit on us. That's benefit from us. That's why FBA said we're going to delineate. We're going to make us an exclusive identity. And guess what? We're going to unite with other groups under that identity versus just black people, right? And that way we can have something to galvanize. Because the thing is, I don't think it's really division. I think that all black people got a ethnicity. You ain't just black. You're either Jamaican, Haitian, you're something, right? And for so long, black people in America, listen to what I'm calling them, black people. Why? They don't have a exclusive ethnicity. So it's just like going to Africa and calling a person just an African. What else are they? Are they a Nigerian, Kenyan, Libyan? Because every African have an exclusive identity under this African umbrella. FBA would be like the Africans in the land that they just call Africans, nothing else. And then one day we will say, hey, let us come up with a tribal name for ourselves, like the Dogon, like the Ashanti. We still Africans, but now we have a exclusive name than just African. That's just a general umbrella. What kind of African? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that. Yeah.
All right, but let's check this out, man. You got ADOS versus FBA. The white boy is on the outside saying, look at these niggas. They both fighting for the same thing, but they fighting each other as well. We can't respect that. They can't even get along with each other. Well, think about that, brother. Now, who's the white man going to respect more? ADOS or FBA or none of them? Until we can unify, until we can unite, like the so-called small, like the baby cat hats, you know, when they went and fought for theirs, they was unified. We fighting each other and we have different names targeting the same thing. Like, why would the European respect that?
I'm going to answer that. And when I said we still Africans, I think a better word I should have said was we're still diasporans. That's
and I want to say I support them both. I support them both groups.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. So the thing with FBA versus ADOS, that ain't a thing. It's really FBA and ADOS. So you have two groups working toward the same thing in probably slightly different ways. That don't make them in opposition to each other. I would say the Democrats and Republicans would be a good example of two white groups that are in opposition to each other, that can't get along. It's a house divided. It's a White House divided. Mm-hmm. So they wouldn't be able to look at us and say we don't respect you Negroes because FBA and ADOS, when they got Democrat versus Republican and they be having smear campaigns. That ain't what FBA and ADOS is. They ain't against each other. They just two different groups with the same goal, if you want to be truthful about it.
Well, I gotta disagree with you because remember, Yvette, what's her name? Yvette, what was her name?
Yvette Carnell.
Yeah, Yvette Carnell and Tariq Nasheed had fallen out. And that's when Tariq Nasheed came out with the FBA. And so now it was split off groups now. You see? So they split off amongst each other.
So look,
some went with FBA, some stayed with the ADOS.
I would say, from how I see it, Yvette and Tariq had beef, but that don't mean ADOS and FBA had beef. And if Tariq come on here and get into it with you, sa.neter, I'm FBA and I ain't gonna be into it with you. That's Tariq. Tariq can't have FBA fight for him like an army. We just a lineage. And Tariq beef is his own beef. FBA don't gotta help him with his fights and none of that stuff, you know. So the thing is this: FBA is more of a lineage to where ADOS is just strictly a black political movement for reparations. FBA is more centered around who gonna get them. And I think the difference between these two groups is the word slavery. The S at the end of ADOS turned a lot of FBA people off. So, but even before you had FBA, you had a lot of black people that was for reparations, but they just won ADOS because they didn't like to be called a slave. So when Tariq came with just foundational Black American, it took off.
Yeah.
It swallowed up all them blacks that wanted reparations, but didn't want to be ADOS. So, yeah, you know, but I will say that, you know, there are some people in FBA that treat it like a cult, because yesterday on my show, they was like, well, you ain't FBA then. And we always tell people we're a lineage. You can't kick nobody out of a lineage. So that's what I was trying to tell folks to, like, when I come with what I'm coming with, watch how many FBA people say he ain't FBA. If y'all do that, then guess what? It's gonna prove I'm an experiment right now. I'm a real living experiment right now. Let's see, is FBA really about what you said? Because if you come at me saying, well, we kicking him out and all that, it was a cult. It's a cult.
But nobody got the right to kick you out. If you FBA, you FBA.
Right. That's what I'm saying. When I was telling them cats that I don't rock with ICE, they was like, you can't be FBA and not support ICE.
Nah, that's not true.
Yeah. Remember when Joe Biden said you can't be black if you don't vote Democrat?
Right.
That's what it made me feel like.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy right there. But now let's talk about ICE for a minute, because we got both of these titles in here. And so when you see ICE, you don't think that they are being too aggressive towards the people? And not only that, they are not only targeting immigrants now. It's like they targeted everybody, even African Americans and Africans, brother.
Yeah.
And Africans. They targeted this sister I know where she was traveling to Miami. She was light-skinned, but they pulled her out the line and she almost missed her plane. And the only thing that got her free was she had to show her passport. And she lucky she had her passport, because she had an ID that wasn't updated and she was showing that. And they was like, yo, this is a fake ID. And she said, oh, hold on, wait a minute. You know, I got my passport. And so she showed her passport, and that's what saved her.
It's so weird that our people would say, F the police, but we love ICE. The reason it's weird because a police officer got a badge number. He got to show you his face. An ICE agent can come up to you with no badge, no identification, with a mask on, We're talking about a vigilante group. This is a militia, man, a government militia, and we don't see it that way. We think they on our behalf. Guess what, man? If a police officer beat you up in the alley, you can remember his badge number, name, all that, and at least go and do something about it. If an ICE agent beat you up in the street, he don't have to identify. He don't have to tell you who he is. It ain't the same as dealing with a regular cop. So
but
that's
didn't
why
the court no longer told them that they got to wear a mask? They got to take their mask off, right?
I think that people probably been protesting enough to make them, they probably made them do something about that, because as I'm concerned, they was just masked up, vigilant. Even if they don't got a mask on, though, ICE agents don't have to identify by name, not unless they change that too, you know, because we're talking about a military group, and this ain't like the police officers. Who you gonna go and complain on to an ICE agent? You got to go to the ICE agency in your neighborhood or whatever, make a complaint. It's gonna be worse than the police department, bro. They got each other back way tighter than the police department. So the thing when people say F the police, but we love ICE, most ICE agents are ex-police officers, guys. So we're asking for more policing. Sa.neter said they made an African woman show her ID. That's the beginning of what I was telling y'all. You're going to have a real ID. If you walking on the street past a certain time, they may say, look, brother, hey, where you going? Let me see your ID, man. Why? Because we making sure you ain't no illegal immigrant. Now, you don't want that kind of world where you got to have curfews and ID, but guess what? We're asking for it. They saying, wait a minute. Y'all want us to get the illegal immigrants out, right? Then shut up. Show me your ID. We doing this for you. You asked for this. And that's how it's going to end up being. So right now, we may say we love ICE, but ICE has repeatedly conducted warrantless detentions, meaning ICE is detaining people without warrants, y'all. And don't nobody care about it, because they ain't the regular police. We would go crazy if it was a regular police. ICE can get away with beating a nigga up today, y'all, because black folks behind them. They'll say, what you do wrong? He must have did something wrong. Listen, ICE has made a mistake and arrested plenty of U.S. citizens, plenty of them. And what they do, they just turn you loose and send you on your way. Now imagine that. Imagine you in your crib, some Mexican dude you got cutting your grass. You didn't know he was illegal. ICE come to your goddamn house. They don't just take Julio up out your yard. They raid your whole house with your kids, everybody at gunpoint, like y'all selling cocaine up in there. And guess what, bro? So you may say, well, they let me go at the end of the day. They just took Julio and they left me alone. But your children was traumatized. Look at what you went through. And God forbid, if you would have been moving or doing something crazy, you could have got shot in that ICE raid. Now, we don't say much about it because it ain't happened to us. But if this stuff become regular, it can happen to you over time. I just think that we shouldn't be supporting ICE like that, because they're gonna do what they do anyway.
Check this out though, but isn't they breaking all the rules that's dealing with the Constitution? They breaking all, it's like they tearing down the whole Constitution. See, if the police and the government and all this got to follow the Constitution, how come ICE don't?
Yeah. Because you know that they was kicking out folks just for speaking out against the system if they're an illegal immigrant. Because my thing is this: y'all let these illegal immigrants over here, and then you tell them, if you're speaking out against the government and we find out you over here illegally, we're gonna get you. So my thing is, okay, yeah, they over here illegally, but that ain't why y'all kicking them out. You kicking them out for speaking out against the government. Because my thing is this right here. Why is ICE all of a sudden kicking these illegal immigrants out after all this time? Because y'all think it's because of Trump? No, it's because they don't need them no more. All of the work that the illegal immigrants is doing, they finna have government contractors with AI and automated systems to do that. But check this out. The reason they kicking the illegal immigrants out, because the illegal immigrants are speaking out against the government. We will say, okay, you got illegal immigrants over here undermining black people, so we glad that ICE kicking them out. But that ain't what ICE doing. ICE kicking out the illegal immigrants that's speaking out against the government, not that speaking out against black people. They gonna keep them here if they speaking out against you. All of the coons and uncles and sambos and all these dudes that's undermining black people, the white man ain't getting rid of them. He keeping them right here. So the fact that y'all think that the white man is about to kick out the minions that he got on his payroll to undermine blacks, that's funny. He ain't doing nothing for you. He kicking out the people that's threatening him. And we like to have an illusion of inclusion, thinking that this devil doing something for us. So that's what I take on. That's my take.
All right, we got one of the House of Consciousness members. Yo, turn on your camera, brother.
So salutes to FBA, but we off cold with this ICE support. We got to stay focused on reparation.
Yes, what's going on, my brother? Seven Asar. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm handling some business, so I can't stay on camera, brother.
Okay,
unfortunately.
Got you.
Do
you have a question, Brother Sanchez?
I didn't really get a chance to hear and listen to everything you were saying, but from the topic that you're saying, as far as FBA supporting ICE, I'm 100% in support of you and against these brothers supporting a regime that's terrorizing people, not only the immigrants, the innocent immigrant people that they're brutalizing, but also the American citizens that they are brutalizing. And it's all in the plan of Trump to foster his dictatorship agenda. And when black people are complicit in this, right, it only aids in their own destruction. And and this is one of the problems that I have with the FBA movement, because the lack of leadership and organization has created this hysteria, right? And their attempt to say that they don't need leadership or organization just shows how failed this movement is, because there is no movement or no people who have established lineage or anything about themselves that didn't do it without leadership and organization. And I think that's why we have these issues with these brothers from FBA. But I do have a question for you.
Before you ask your question, I'm just going to say one quick thing. You right about the no leadership. I thought that FBA can function without a leader, because the plan was to have a system of checks and balances where we all enforce the code. When you hear a brother say you off code or on code, see, if you don't want to have a leader to be the face of your movement, then you can have code enforcement among all the members where we stay on one page. But if we ain't gonna have a leader or code enforcement, I'm with you. It's just it's all bad now, you know.
Yeah, because it's hard for, like, if one FBA member says this and then another FBA member says that, where do they go to for correction, right? Where do people go and say, well, who's telling the truth? Right? Usually, like, I'm gonna give you an example, like Nigeria, right? Nigeria is a country, but it also has a lineage. In Nigeria, there's organizations of Nigerians who has the body of information about their lineage, and you can go to their organization and learn about Nigerians, right? So, and there's leadership in that organization to lead in that organized effort. The FBAs don't have that. And it's creating a host of problems for them, and even for us as Black Americans, because we keep creating these divisional communities with amongst ourselves instead of uniting. I'm FBA, I'm Hebrew, I'm Commission, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim. Like, we have all these different divisional titles that we keep creating, and it's not giving us any type of advancement in society. And I think that the FBA movement is crying for leadership. I think that if anybody is serious about being FBA, they need to start leading and organizing today. I love my brother Tyreek Nasheed, but I see him keep turning away from the leadership, even though he's one of the main protagonists of the movement, which is a disappointment from me to him. And I think that we who are trying to correct the FBA need to echo this message to them time and time again.
So in my chat room, they on my head because I used the word member. But here's why I said FBA members. If FBA is a lineage, then guess what? Everybody repping FBA is my family member. You're my family member. We're members of a family, of a lineage. Don't let the word member throw you off. That's all. But the whole thing I would say about Tariq being the leader, if he don't like the word leader, he can simply say, you know, I'm one of the code enforcers. A person say, what is the code? Well, here's a list of do's and don'ts for FBA that we must all adhere to so that no member can undermine the group. Because if we're going to hold tethers to do's and don'ts and tell a tether, you can't do this to black people, you can't do this, then we got to hold our own members. We can't have people in the group undermining us. But what happens is it's open. FBA have it set up to where you can't really set down no codes and laws. So it's like a big cluster F word. It's like a big chaotic ball of confusion because you got different people with different agendas, and that's all cool. But everyone in FBA just need to be uniting under reparations and leaving their personal agendas at the door, and they can promote that through their own movements. But what I'm saying in FBA is just a bunch of people promoting their individual thing under the FBA banner because they know it's popping. And you see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's where the distortion and the where you see disingenuous people come in, right? Like even now in the chat, they upset talking about who's the Brazilian leader. Brazil has not only a political leader, but they have leaders in the community that talk about the Brazilian culture, the Brazilian lineage. That's what you guys are missing. There's leadership in every fraction of every people, right? And for you to say that this one movement doesn't need leadership, you are only fostering your own failures. And this is why we have this confusion amongst the FBA community. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, because it's possible to have leadership without no one saying I am the set leader of the group. For example, in a community, the seniors and the elders are supposed to be the leadership of that community, even though there may not be one of them step up and say I am the leader. But I'm with you because I will give FBA an out and say, okay, that don't have to be one man that's the face, that's the leader, but we still need some OGs, some seniority, some checks and balances. Otherwise, it's just a free-for-all. So that's how I look at it, man. I think a lot of people saying it ain't no leader to use that as an excuse to be able to promote their own thing through FBA. Yeah.
They don't want a leader because now a leader's going to have to hold them responsible and accountable for what FBA stands for. And if you don't have no leader and you don't have no really codes, no laws, no regulations, you're going to be able to run amok. Like it's even like I ran into a brother who misused the word tether. I'm a foundational Black American because I am a descendant of African slaves. Have did my DNA and my and looked at my genes, right? And looked at my family tree, and I found that I am a descendant of African slaves. There's no way in the world that I could be labeled as a tether, as was defined by Tyreek Nasheed. But I was called one because I disagreed with a foundational Black American about his opinions on Africa, right? So now I'm a tether. Now I'm a tether. You understand how the misuse of these of this movement and what they're spreading the confusion that it can cause. And you have people out there, I think, that are agents that are purposely trying to create confusion. And through that confusion creates actual living confusion in the people who are believing these agents out there. So I think we need to do a better job of vetting this movement, FBA, not allowing it to set into our community until there's some leadership and organization going on. And you out there who do not want the leadership and organization, you're going to be up against a fight with Black people who are in the know and who are going to hold you accountable for trying to create a movement that will cause division and confusion.
I don't think that FBA could ever cause division, because I think that we were born into a people that was already divided. And I think that to reach intent with FBA was to bring forth some solution to the division. You see what I'm saying? Because look, you got Black Christians, Muslims, Moors, Hebrews, Republicans, liberals. It goes on and on. But we ain't, and because of that, we ain't got one thing that we can all come together and galvanize under politically to get something done. So that's what I think they was trying to do with ADOS and FBA. They was saying, look, if you're ADOS, leave your Christianity at the door, your Islam at the door. When you come here, we're just Black people fighting together for reparations. That's it. One goal, one agenda. Can we just come together to accomplish one thing, right? And so you can't, if everybody coming to these groups trying to push their religion, their political party. And in the case of FBA, I see a big influence of like Black conservatives taking over the FBA movement, and it's turning into an anti-immigration movement versus a pro-reparation movement. That's my opinion. So I really
everything that you said, brother.
Yeah.
Everything that you said, brother, I agree, and you're agreeing with me, right?
Yeah.
Because of course, we're already divided, but we don't need to create more division in our community, right?
Right.
Because we already got people that are Hebrews and Abos and all of these different titles that they're holding that's dividing us. We're going to create more titles to divide us, even more division. But hold on, I just want to say this one thing, because you said something that was important. The FBA moniker is now being taken over by Black Republicans, like you said, Aboriginals, Hebrews. You have all these other different fractions that are trying to take ownership because there's no real leadership in the movement. So their actual movement may be taken over by another one, right? And if we want the FBA to be really what Tyreek intended it to be, we have to fight for that. And that only can come with leadership and organization. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I just had a question for you. Do you remember when Tupac was doing that interview and he was like, Black people need our own political party? He was in his early 20s talking like that.
Yes, he was. He learned that from his mother. Yes.
So I don't see if Pac probably would have started a movement back then, it would have been similar to FBA. It would have been one movement that all Blacks could come under and just fight for on a political level with one cause. You ain't a Christian, you ain't a Hebrew, you ain't a Moor. When you come here, you just a foundational Black America, or whatever Pac would have called it. You just a Black man fighting for the injustices of the systems that you're living under right here in America. We still don't got nothing like that now. Even with FBA is trying to be that, and I like the idea because it can be that, but we still haven't. We don't have that yet, and I don't know if it's gonna be FBA or what group is gonna be, but we need that.
All right, let me bring on Dr. Reggie real quick. Thank you, my brother Asar. Good questions, man. Good dialogue, and don't go nowhere. You're still here. Dr. Reggie, what you got to add on to this with Brother Sanchez?
Well, good to see you, sa.neter. You're looking pretty healthy, looking pretty good, except for the little fake,
much respect,
the little cough.
Much respect to you, Dr. Reggie, man.
Oh, yeah, Brother Sanchez. Good job. I generally understand your sentiments, but I've been I'm 60 plus years old and I've been around a lot of movements. Now, ADO started for reparations. They figured that they had a new way to do reparations, or at least to lobby for reparations. And at that particular time, certainly was around the federal reparations movement. The reparations movement has changed because of a number of things. I think that you know. One, the Pelman Farmer, the verdict for the Pelman Farmer last reparations case in the appellate court, where Posner said a harm to your ancestors is not a harm to the descendants. That's pretty much a law. Because it's referred to defeat all other reparations cases. So reparations in the federal has moved to local reparations. They did not really adjust to that. They was trying to lobby with Elizabeth Warren. Now, the Tariq Nasheed, our good brother, was involved in FBA, in ADOS, and then he left to create his own movement. The problem with both movements is that they don't have a strategy for reparations. So they're just using it as a kind of a horse and carrot motive. But then they've reached past reparations because they really don't have the skill set, because it requires a law, it requires politics, it requires, ADOS has some of those capabilities. Tariq's team, or the people underneath Tariq, are just social. They're just doing on the social. So my question to you, I know it's long-winded. I know that you feel that you want reparations, but would you agree with me that you need a plan?
Of course. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. And in the minute that you sense that there is no plan and is drifting to something else, what is your thinking about that?
Well, I think it does have a plan. I'll share it with you and you can critique it. It's a simple plan that we're supposed to be following for reparations. And I'm going to tell you right now, Reggie, we ain't following it, which is why I'm up here right now. But the plan is we're supposed to be leveraging our votes, saying F-U-C-K to the Democrats, F-U-C-K to the Republicans. We ain't leaning left or right until you cut the check. That's the simple plan, leveraging votes, right? Basically a vote boycott. But I see a lot of guys that's already saying, go Trump, go ICE. They pledging they vote to the right. And I'm saying, how can you have a vote boycott? How can you have a group that's supposed to be on one page with well, you got one thing to do, and that's to not lean left or right. Leverage your voice, and we can't do that.
No, I agree. Malcolm X, of course, has a famous quote, by any means necessary. And so reparations is both political, right? It's economic, right? It's those two things. And so in order to get a reparations, meaning get a government, even a local government, to pay, you have to secure votes by saying to them, if you don't vote our way, then to the people that could help you, then there's the other political side that won't help you. So who wins? The status quo. So it seems to me that the movement is full with political agents that are really right wing, because they don't want anything to happen. They want the status quo, or they want the government, a particular government, to favor them over other groups. What do you think about that?
I think you're so right when you say that the movement is being infiltrated by right-wing guys. I don't know how you know it. That's why I'm up here right now, bro. But you're right, man, because they don't want us. They want the left and the right to keep playing what I call political ping pong with black people. You know, because FBA presents itself as a political group for reparations. Is not Democratic or Republican. But can't nobody in FBA lie like right now we ain't really like an ICE group right now. We're on some far right anti-immigration stuff versus being in the middle pro reparations.
Well, that's why I'm interested in listening to you, because just as a learning exercise, just to see that there are people who have called themselves FBA because they care about the legacy of Blacks in America, right?
Respect.
And that we have our own particular culture that is definitely separate from Africa. But to go as far as to spend and waste your time fighting with the right against Africans when you're not promised anything, right, from the Republicans, then it tends to mean that you're just that group of people that are what we have called Negroes and Uncle Toms. Now, there has many been people because of sa.neter's platform that's come on sa.neter's platform. There was there was pro-Trump, right, and anti-Kamala Harris, not looking at, well, what's the what would be the best choice, a Donald Trump or the typical Kamala Harris. They attacked her for not being Black, but many of these groups that attack her for not being Black, like, for example, the Hebrews and groups like that, they are imposters to they're culture vultures to another group of people's culture. So they make the ancient Hebrews Black because they're Black, but they're culture vultures because they still don't follow that culture. They might read the King James Version, which is the Greek, and then English, Greek, Latin, and then English version, and really the white man's version, right? And then they try to make King James Black. So they're able to make white people Black, but a woman whose father's Jamaican, right?
Man.
So continue on. I didn't want to disturb, but
you know they made Abraham Lincoln Black now.
Oh yeah, president of the United States that they don't understand was an ambassador to Liberia. They make him Black. They do this because guess what? They're really either agents. I'm talking about certain social media people. They're really agents, or they're just ignorant and like the status quo. But right now, the status quo with Donald Trump. So I did a whole presentation. Donald Trump is saying he's seizing all this revenue from on the guise of drug trafficking, but there are victims of drug trafficking, and that's us, right? So there should be a fund, right? Since it's for the victims of drug trafficking, there's no other group in America that is caught as much hell for drug trafficking than us, right? So that's I say there should be a fund, right, created for the victims of drug trafficking that would benefit our people. And but I find that people don't even entertain those type of ideas and show the contradictions of the right wing. So they seem to be MAGA, or I'm gonna call them beggar, right? I'm gonna put the B in front of it, right? Because they Black, right? Blacks making up the old America great, right? So they're beggars. So mega, and then there's our people who ride with them. They're the beggars, right? They don't want to do anything. But I'm gonna stop. I'm just glad that you are one of those people who are calling yourself FBA for the legacy, for what they owe us, what they have done to us, where we should go. But you have to understand that Tariq Nasheed, whatever he did, he's a great marketing person. The people underneath them are the most xenophobic, unhistorical, and I've been around in this movement for 40 years. I ain't never seen none of them jokers in real Black movement, in real Black organizations.
FBA bigger than the internet, but I feel where you going. I want to go here, man. We got to talk about this part too, Reggie, everybody. People going to get mad at me for what I'm about to say. The woman that got shot was wrong, right? Because she hit the gas. Let's just hear me out now. And listen, I don't agree with her being unalived. I think that the cop should have, because what happens is this: cops get drugged by the car, so they have passed a law to where if the cop tell you to stop the car, put it in park, and you slam on the gas, they can use lethal force. Now, listen, I don't agree with the cops using lethal force every time, but that's a law that they pass, and I agree with our people knowing the law, so you don't get shot up thinking that the car ain't a lethal weapon. A lot of our people don't know that they can get shot up by pressing on the gas. I'm here to tell you today, if the police tell you to put the car in park and take your foot off the gas, if you hit that gas, it's like pulling a gun out. That's something very important. People die like that, and they don't know the law. So that's why I said the lady did, and I don't necessarily agree with that law. They would say, but polices get drugged all the time. Well, they in a dangerous damn career field. They signed up for it. Whoop-de-doo. You know, that's kind of how I see it. But again, I'm not an ICE agent. You know the cops gonna want the law to work in their favor. But the thing is, she did hit the gas, and I knew that them racist white cops was gonna shoot her. It was sad, but she was wrong.
Stop. Wait 1 second. First of all,
She didn't know the law.
Wait, you're not even in the conversation.
I am in the I just heard Reggie. You just
popped in. I just wanted to ask something.
Reggie, but I wanted to jump in after him, Reg. Come on.
Right, but that's something that you wanted to do. But before you got on, I was talking to Brother Sanchez.
What that got to do with anything, though?
Yeah,
y'all not having a conversation, y'all two. You said what you said.
Reggie land in and you just hop in. Salutes to you, Unc. Just let him land on that.
Hey, yo, Reggie gonna talk you to death.
Because I knew this. I knew this.
All right. Come on, y'all.
Was going to be.
Sanchez, you can turn on your camera.
Hey, Sanchez.
Yeah, I'm about to come back. Let me put this incense out.
Oh, go ahead, brother. Do your thing.
They treated her like they would treat black people with no discretion.
You're right.
And that's all I really want to say. But you know what? I'm going to just listen because there you go. That's just how it works.
Yeah, this is going to be
it's just a gentleman's game at this point, though. Reggie, you did a whole lecture just now. You made your points.
All right, don't address Reggie. Just
I'm addressing the person that addressed me. Let me make my point. I'm simply saying Reggie got off his clean points. Sanchez got off his clean points. Let me get off my clean points. That's not the actual law. Okay? The car being a lethal weapon, there's not that. There's certain criterion to that. Right? That actually did not fit that. So, no, first of all, police officer is directed not to stand in front of a car. That's the first thing. First point. Second point, it barely hit him. Right? So under no circumstance do you shoot a person in the side of the head like that. Now, as African Americans, we see this all the time. It was shocking to see a white person shoot another white person like that. We've been seeing that type of thing happen. So I don't know what the uproar is. That's how they operate. In all our communities, we never get the benefit. Right? So I'm just saying as a human being, right? There has to be, where's the benefit to that? Like meaning there's a law, there's the letter of the law, and based off of that, the lady shouldn't have got shot up like that. But we never catch that. People ignore the law when it comes to us. So I agree to that point. Right?
And a lot of things that
I'm not gonna sit there, right, and see what I saw. Because if it happened to white people one time, it's going to continue to happen to us 30 times. So whenever we see the wrong doing, we got to fight that. That's all I'm saying.
And one more thing to add on, I'm gonna let you go. Sanchez, I'm gonna let you go. When y'all look at the video again, you can see that the car passed the police. It passed them. Yeah, when you look at it in slow motion, you'll see the car passed him, and that's when he's just shot up. Bow, bow, bow. I think it was 3 shots he shot in there.
And then he said stupid B word. He said stupid B.
Hold on. You know what? So as human beings, right? When a person makes you mad, right? Somebody do something to you, you felt that they wronged you. You be like, you do it. And you was like, B. So he was already there, yo. So basically, she was a heckler, right? You can see in her face, she was just messing with him. At no point did she think it was going to turn to lethal force. He's seen it. As human beings, I talk about this on the previous show, right? It's called the theory of the mind. We think we know what another person is thinking. So based off of her smiling, based off of her just cracking jokes, at no point was she aggressive to the point where the police felt like his life was in danger. It's crazy.
Now, this same police officer that shot the lady, a week before that, he got drugged by a car. So I think he was paranoid already. And my thing is, if he just got drugged last week, it should have been some kind of let's let him. That let me know he's a gun ho cat. You just got drugged next week and you in front of a car again. He's one of those kind of white guys that's waiting for you to do something that where he can get away with killing you. And she didn't, and that's what we dealing with. That's why I said we gotta learn from that lady. Because I know a lot of folks, I'm watching videos every day of people pull off on speeding tickets and they ain't getting shot, but they could, and the police can beat it. You know what I'm saying? So this is a learning lesson. People don't like when I say she was wrong. That don't mean I'm taking up for the cop. It's mean I'm saying you need to know the law. She was probably thinking, I'm mad. I'm just going to send them on a little chase right quick and maybe I'll cool off and stop. She wasn't thinking when I hit this gas, that's my life. She wasn't thinking that.
Heck, no, you're absolutely right. At no point, but that's the point. Like that happens to us in our community on a regular occurrence, right? So the fake outrage by people that look like me and you is wild, right? Because this is what we talking about, right? Like, okay, I know your police. I know there's certain rules and regulations of a person trying to escape in the middle of a crime and they use the car as a lethal weapon. The police got a right to shoot you. But this lady was just being smart alecky, haggling the ISIS police, right? And she tapped him and she hit him, right? When she tapped him, he know he wasn't wounded.
Yeah.
Humped him, right? He was already reaching for the gun. Y'all seen that, right?
Yeah.
Why are you reaching for the gun? You should have been getting out the way, bro. It was like he didn't want the lady to get away. And then he called her a B because first of all, human beings will frustrate you at times. We get frustrated all the time, yo. Sometimes with these calls, we get frustrated, yo, and you wish you could smack the heck out of them. But you know, this is, you know what I'm saying? You know, that ain't something you do. But go ahead, Reggie. Jump in, Reggie. Before you start talking about brother Reggie and acting crazy for no reason. Well, I tell you, boy.
And how big of a problem do you think illegal immigration is to black people?
I don't. First of all, they don't even occupy the spaces that we want to even occupy. So I don't actually have a problem with that. But I know it's rules and regulations, and I think people should follow rules and regulations. That's what I think. I'm saying if there's rules and regulations, right, you can't get mad. That's my point. If you get caught doing your thing, you can't actually get mad. That's all. That's my point.
I got a little pushback on that because that's what they was telling me. I was debating FBAs on my channel. I'm FBA, by the way. But Cats was joining, and they was like, you know what I'm saying? It's rules and they ain't following. But remember, it was a rule where it was okay to treat us a certain way, though.
Of course.
The same people had rules again. That's why I said we playing a crazy game trying to help them enforce these rules that don't even benefit us either.
Well,
you know, because I think
that's the point. The point that you're making is the point.
Hey, Reggie, let him finish first, and then you could go in because you cut him right off. Just let him finish, Reggie, and then you go right behind him.
Okay, and I'll just land right here then. The reason why I'm saying we playing a crazy game, getting behind ICE, because what happened on my show yesterday, I had to ask these FBAs. I said, listen, bro, you think if you didn't get behind ICE that they wouldn't kick the immigrants out? And that's when they get quiet. Take the mic, Reggie. You got it. Salute.
Okay, so I was saying that's the point. And sa.neter, when you moderate, you expert moderator, but then when other people come on, right? Then you should moderate this. You should moderate the same, right? We're all grown people here, right? So the point is, Brother Sanchez, is the exact point is that white people didn't think that the ICE situation could come back home to them. That's why they're at mass, because it came back. They thought, in a sense, that they was reading the headlines on the so-called illegal immigration of people of color. They found out that it came back to them, that it hurt their civil liberties, and that's why they're up in arms. The other part of it is what is happening with the Somali immigrants in America, in Minnesota. First of all, we never asked them to come here, right? We never asked that group of Africans to come here, right? They came here for America's position because they were always going to send them back, because they was going to westernize this group of Somalis, right? And send them back to destabilize Somalia. So we're looking at it as, oh, they're just attacking them. No, they always were going to send that group back, right? So that's why you have this whole division with Somaliland. So you have a Western fed, like cattle fed group of Africans that were brought here and put in places where Black Americans live, to hold this group. And so the attack on them is really just a facade, because when you listen to them back in Africa, we don't want to be here. We want to go. They want to be westernized, not necessarily Americanized. They want the Western creature comforts, and they will fight and die for that. So that's what I have to say about that. So we didn't ask for those groups of people here. They never integrated with us, right? They're not Pan-African, right? And we have no control of them coming here or leaving, right? But they're in our space. And unfortunately, we have this thing where we look at skin color and we don't look at anything else. So just because you're Black doesn't mean that you're kin folks. So we should have it has nothing to do at all with us, right? And it has nothing to do with Pan-Africanism, because they're not Pan-Africanists, right? Or they're not Black nationalists. They're a cultural group in America for a short term, and they're going to be used as mercenaries in the wars in Africa. I'll stop right there.
All right. Let me move on to the other brother. What's up, man? What's your name, brother? Maul, what's up, man? Yo? All right, look like you froze. Let me kick you out.
Yeah, he's frozen.
Yeah, let me kick you out. Let me go to my little man right here. Humble. What up, Humble?
What up, Si? What up to everybody on the panel? What it do, brother?
What's good, Humble?
Chilling. So
what's up, Bomb Squad? Big up to the Bomb Squad.
What up? So
yeah, peace to you, family. Peace.
A little bit of what I was just listening to. A huge issue I have with FBA is the separation of, they're trying to make melanated Americans different from melanated Africans. And simply, when we go back through history, we know the current people now, have a mix of both, right? Some of us might have a mix of both. Some of us might, but when it comes to melanin, Brother Reggie said something earlier about all skin folk and kinfolk. But we got to realize the white people don't distinguish the difference, right? They don't look at an African coming over here and an African American over here and say, oh, well, they're not the same people. No, both of them are Black. The only difference is we paying him money to come over here and do what he do, so we don't have to give the melanated man over here a position that he should already have. But we have to stop trying to separate Africans and Americans. We're called African American for a reason. That's number one. Number two, when we talking about the dude that was driving a car and that shot the lady that was driving a car and a dude that shot her in the head, police do have getaway rights, right? When the car is getting away from them, pursuit rights, they do have pursuit rights. The first thing a police is supposed to do right, when a car is getting away from them, is to attempt to make a traffic stop. That means the first thing they're supposed to get in their car and do is get in that car and turn on their sirens. The next thing they're supposed to do is radio for dispatch, right? To describe the vehicle, describe the destination, describe what the person looked like. The person is never supposed to shoot. The officer is never supposed to shoot a getaway driver. Never.
So unless they feel like the car is going
unless the car is an illegal threat. But if the car is a getaway, see, is a difference between a getaway driver and a legal threat. A legal threat is a car that's trying to hit you, coming towards you.
Yeah, you're right.
A getaway driver is someone who's getting away from you.
She was definitely a getaway driver.
But there's a big difference.
Maybe she would have got his toe or something rolled over, but it wouldn't have been.
There's a big difference in what Brother Humble was saying to that incident. See, everything that he's saying is correct when it comes to a police officer, but ICE agents go by different standards. As a matter of fact, this administration's ICE agents don't have no badges, don't have the same demands that a police officer has. So that's why there's so much protest, because of how this administration is handled.
So do ICE agents not have to follow human natural rights?
Hey, guess what? Let me tell you how crazy
not by this administration. This administration is allowing them to violate people's constitutional rights.
So why are they here? They here with no jurisdiction?
They're here to militarize American people, and we've been warning that this was gonna come, and they rolling it out in a way that we don't even see it. We looking at it like an illegal immigration thing when it's really a police state we about to enter.
Right.
No, it's being seen because we understand that Donald Trump is trying to enact the Insurrection Act, which will allow him to militarize the cities. And he needs a riot, he needs commotion, he needs unrest in the streets, because that's the only way that he'll be able to have full control and autonomy without the checks and marks of the Congress or the Supreme Court. So we understand this. Politicians or Democrats are all on all kind of different news channels expressing this. So there's an effort and a fight against Donald Trump's efforts, but it doesn't mean that he won't succeed. So our community have to be conscious in his efforts to try to militarize and change the way this country is ran. Because it's not going to benefit us if we go into a dictatorship.
Right.
And people don't see that. That's what ICE represent the beginning of. It's crazy that they don't.
I got a question. I think I heard Brother Sanchez earlier talking about something with us and voting. Brother Sanchez, what's your point of view on our people and voting? Because I think I heard you talk about something about that.
And this is where FBA come into play. And shout out to ADOS too. I'm gonna just say FBA ADOS, right? So the thing is, if our votes are really powerful, that like our money is, we don't spend our money any kind of way. We keep it in our pocket and we be wise with it. So I think all our relationships with these white folks in politics in this country has been us playing like a pimp that got one hole going from this pimp to that pimp to back to this pimp to that
I would
pimp.
agree.
You see what I'm saying? And I thought that FBA was on some, you know what, we ain't getting pimped no more. The hell with the left and the right. We leveraging our votes and we don't care who you are. As long as you cut the check, then we rocking with you. So if our votes, now that crazy part, if our votes is powerful, then this leverage and boycott would be successful. If it's not successful, then that let us know our efforts at the ballot box was always a game anyway. So we can't lose with this.
Let me interject in this. Let me give you some real info on politics, because our vote is powerful, but we don't utilize it correctly. There was a sister that was on the PA show the other day, and she had a great idea, and she's correct. We need to go to the populations where there are mostly Black people at, and we need to politicize that city, right? Create political capital, create an economic stronghold, and then you'll be able to vote for that city's whatever they need. They'll be able to vote and use those tax dollars to keep the people that you want in power. You have communities all over this country from different ethnic groups who actually do that. I mean, how many people can go into a city and every building they go into when they go in the city, it's in a different language? That's because that community has controlled the political power in that community. Our community is the only community who doesn't take advantage of their vote. Our politics are more powerful when they're local. Federal politics are affected by the local politics that
So
vote for that.
let me ask you a quick
Now,
question. You think if we did the vote leveraging thing on local levels in our communities, and that would have more of a benefit? That sounds like
Indeed, because our judges, we would vote the judges that we wanted in. We would vote the mayors that we would want in, and I'm not talking about the ones that other political parties pick for us, but what the community actually picks for themselves. And I mean, it would even go all the way up to the Senate. We can do the House, the Senate, the governor. We can have all the people that we want. If we control our communities, we can do that. We're powerful enough to do that. We're a small percentage of the population, but we've changed policy, right? Where we had the Housing Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act. We had all of these. We even abolished slavery with our efforts, right? So it can be done. We just got to stand up and do it.
All right.
And we cannot.
Yeah, let me bring on Diesel real quick. Diesel, you want to say something?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, man. I was just listening, man. How you doing, Sanchez? By the way, I've been rocking you for a few years. You know, flat power, FMFP. You know what it is.
Oh man, knock it off.
Anyway,
let the brother.
Anyway, listen. Anyway, I wanted to address something. I heard y'all was saying something about, like, you know, not used to seeing white people getting shot by the police, and y'all was talking about the whole thing with using the car. One of my friends, that's a white dude, he got killed by the police doing that, trying to evade the police. So it's a real thing, like you were saying. I just wanted to kind of like get that out there, like, you know, it's an actual thing that happens, but you don't see that on TV though. They won't show you that.
It happens a lot because, you know what, we think that a lot of dudes come from the era of outrunning sending the cops on a car chase. That's slowly going away. If these cops want to, they can kill you right there now, and you just lucky you ain't got some dirty cop nowadays. And a lot of our folks don't know that you speeding away is lethal force, because the police, if he's holding on to your door, right, and you speed away, he can get drugged a little bit, and that can be his defense in court, that I was holding on to the car. And guess what? We know that a lot of this stuff is BS, but these cops is racist, and they're going to use it, and they're going to get off anyway.
Exactly. It's just something. It's just a reason, you know, just another reason, you know, to kill somebody.
I don't think we argued that. And nobody actually argued we're not used to white people shooting white people. Matter of fact, more white people shoot white people than white people shoot black people. That's it. More Koreans shoot Koreans. Yeah. So more crime is committed within your own demographic or ethnic group than outside of it. So no one actually argued that. I would like to sharpen up a little bit and say that the conversation we're having, do your own due diligence to look up the actual laws and rules and regulations. It's essential to this conversation. And I would like to add this tidbit to it. Scientific literacy actually helps you make proper decision making and understand your community involvement and your politics. So if you're sprouting a whole lot of anti-scientific ideas, I can't trust you on your politics. I'm a mute out on that one. Look it up.
Hey.
Brother Sanchez, if our vote is as powerful as some people claim it is, how much more powerful do you think our vote would be if we decided not to participate in vote?
That's my point.
That's where I stand with it.
And look, that's why I said you really can't nobody on this panel give me no legit pushback for FBA, because as a black galvanized political movement of leveraging our votes, pan-Africanism ain't came with that idea, and this ain't no. I know my Pan-African brothers gonna get mad at me now, but I'm just telling y'all why FBA is taking off, why it's taking off, because think about it, man. Ain't nobody never just said, let's come together with this one idea. We ain't voting. We finna leverage our votes and see. We ain't Democrats or Republicans. You know what I'm saying?
Can I give you pushback? Okay, so before there was ever a thinking of an FBA, the Nation of Islam for close to 70 years took that position.
They didn't have that idea. They had that idea?
So that's correct.
Yes, right? They did. Thank you, Brother Reggie. Thank you.
So that's absolutely correct. What you have is a hijacking of history, because the FBAs are ignorant.
Nah, bro.
The FBAs are ignorant on Black history. They're creating,
Correct.
They're renaming Black history, right? So you got a bunch of people born in the 1970s and 80s dictating, never read real books on Black history, and thinking that people are coming up with something new, right?
If you born in 84, don't you know?
You gotta let Reggie finish. You can't cut Reggie off. Go ahead, Reggie.
My bad, Reggie. You right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the problem is what you agreed on in the beginning, and I'll get off. You agreed that they don't have a plan, and so when we did see them appear, it was about reparations. These topics are over and above reparations, right? So they have now, you have tried to make them Black leadership, but there is already Black leadership. It is not it is not where it should be, but there are people who've actually done the work. I have not seen any educated FBA person who's touting the FBA person. If there are, come on Unc's channel, come on my channel, or come on sa.neter's channel. First thing we're gonna ask you is, where's your plan? Because if you're so educated and you're taking a motley cut up some points, right? And you're making that an FBA movement, you're out of your mind. So if you don't know nothing about law, if you don't know nothing about economics, politics, you're not part of an organization, right? Then you just got ideas. So I'm gonna mute my mic, but please, Brother Sanchez, don't make the FBAs more than their mandate. Their mandate was trying to get the check. That's all.
Yeah, listen, Reggie. Here's my thing about the Nation of
Islam.
Well,
before you respond, I need to piggyback on some information about the voting, because the brother.
I'll be real. I'm gonna be real quick, Seven. So I'll count down from 10. I'm gonna be quick. The thing about the Nation of Islam, if the Nation of Islam had the idea of leveraging votes before FBA, I ain't gonna debate you on that. I would say the reason it didn't take off is because it was probably it was overshrouded with the Islam, the religious ideology. That's what the thing with FBA is so big, because they're not Islamists, they ain't Christians. It don't turn no group off.
Come on, man.
You see what I'm saying? It's universal to all Black groups, whereas the NOA a Black Christian may not want to align themselves with, the NOI or certain. I'm just saying. That's just a theory.
Yeah, you need to go. You need to go listen to.
Idiot. Hey, mute. Yeah, Unc talking. He cussing somebody. He must be in traffic.
Okay. Yeah. But brother, you need to go. You need to go see. Go listen to Malcolm X's speech for the Ballot of the Bullet, and you'll see.
Oh, I heard it. I heard it. Yeah.
New.
Yeah, I know it ain't new. I just think
it's
been. Yeah, I think it's been rebuilt into. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Seven.
Well, but when you say withhold your vote, wait, hold on. I just want to say this real quick. When that brother said withholding our vote, he thinks is a smart idea. What he's not understanding is he's disenfranchising himself from the system, and a lot of people don't know this, but only half of the United States of America participates in the presidential vote, right? Less than that in local politics. So if we don't even participate at all, right? Everything that goes down in this country, we didn't have not one say so in. And if you think our vote doesn't give us leverage, you're wrong.
No, that
whatever
ain't
little advances we had. That's what I'm saying. So if it gives us leverage, withholding it, it's going to give us less,
Listen what I'm
right?
telling,
Well,
what I'm saying, Seven and Sauce, so you
may,
can be
may I
clear, right?
respond really fast, brother Sanchez?
Hold
Go ahead.
Whoa, I'm next. I'm next.
Let me,
I'm
because he's
next.
Okay,
Hold
talking to
on.
me,
Hold
because
on.
that's
I'm
what I
next.
was.
Next.
Yeah, he was talking to me. I'm gonna be quick, right? Seven and Sauce, here go the idea, right? FBA ain't saying don't vote. They saying don't vote until the person that's making their promises to you come through on them. And I agree with that, because if my vote really got power, you'll give me what you said you was gonna give me for it. Because guess what? My money got power. And if I want to buy a t-shirt from Humble, then he will hand me the t-shirt and I'm gonna hand him my money. A good, smooth transaction, right? So it ain't that I won't vote. It's that I ain't finna let you play me now. Give me what you said, and you making a lot of promises, right? And everybody else go the same way. They let them fulfill the promise first, then they get behind a person. And I think we should play like that too.
Now, I agree with you that we shouldn't just vote for policies that don't benefit us, right? But we've actually voted for people who actually went through with the policies that benefited us. What we have to do is create the leverage, like other communities, like the LGBT community created leverage, and they have all of these things. You have other communities that created leverage. We're not good at creating leverage because we're not as unified as those other communities, right? We have
And
to
that's
be
where
we have to be the five fingers that
That's
create the
crazy,
fist,
man.
and we cannot actually utilize our voting power as it should be with the disunity that we have in our community.
now
And
Seven
that
and
We
goes
was
for
Sauce,
trying
don't
that
you
anything
40,
agree?
50
that we try
years
to do.
ago.
No, we
Don't
did
you
not.
agree?
We never were unified in a front for us and used our political power as leverage only to get the Civil Rights Act, the Housing Right, all these acts that we did. That was our leverage power. That was our marching. That was our blood, sweat, and tears that changed the way that society was run for us. So those are examples in history that showed that we had political power, we used it as leverage, and we got what we want. But now that we're more educated and we're far removed from that, we use that as a learning tool to advance even more our efforts to create the leverage to get us even more what we need to. But the only way we can do that is creating political capital and economic power. That's the only way we can do it. And the only way we can do that is through unity. I'll close there.
So, but don't you agree though that if we're gonna leverage our vote, like you were saying, then it's important to let all parties know we ain't no easy spenders. You're gonna have to work hard to get this vote now. We don't give it away easy.
Facts.
That's
And you
what I
do that locally. You do that locally. And when you start, like I said, when we start voting people in that are actually for our agenda, and those people start getting stuff done for us, then that's when the political capital starts mounting up, right? Oh man, they can get this done. Or, oh man, they did this favor for them. It moves up the ladder, brother. That's how politics works, right? So we have to get in control of our communities to create this. Right now, we have no control. We've never had any control. When we did for the 13 years, right? When we created Black Wall Street, they were discovered. But we're we're 100 and some years away from that now. We can
when you say
return back to that,
when
but
you say
we got
we
to now
need
learn from that.
when you say we need unity in this area of politics, don't you think that's what FBA and ADOS was attempting to do? Now you may critique
No,
them and say, well, you don't
we
think so?
need unity within our community before we can get any unity within any other aspect of society. We have to unite within ourselves first before a unity of
But
politics
that's what
or
FBA
anything
and
That's
else.
ADOS
what they
doing.
trying. That's what they
That's what
But
trying
they
to
F,
doing.
do.
They
but
saying let's
but
unite within
FBA,
black.
but FBA,
Hold on,
Hold
seven.
on. Let me get in there next. I'm
Let him
next. Let me
finish.
get
Let
in.
him finish, Asal. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm next though, so come on, man.
Go
I
ahead,
got you, brother.
Sanchez.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what FBA and ADOS is trying to do. They trying to create unity among a specific group. And ain't nobody that saying you can't be a part of what think about this, right? You brought up Africa. Africans got tribes, they got the Dogon, the Bushmen, the Ashanti, all them, and they all got their different flags in Africa for their different nations. So it ain't no one just saying that they're black. They saying that they're a bunch of things and they're getting exclusive with it. So I don't think that FBA is being divisive. I think they actually trying to galvanize a group that didn't have an identity for a long time and just trying to give them one.
Okay.
You think
All
about
right. So
that?
let me
Well, I
jump
just
in.
think that I'm
Hold
just
on,
gonna say this. I
Asar.
think
Come on, man.
disorganization and leadership, like I
Asar,
said,
come on,
is
man.
why FBA is dividing. And I'll say that. That's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted.
Salutes to
All
that.
right. Thank you, sir. Listen. First of all, FBA is not a political movement. We need to stop the characterization of something that does not exist. They're not 42 million FBA. No such thing. People are just saying it, right? And the information is based off of pseudoscientific information. First of all, African Americans are
Reparations
the
ain't
group.
pseudo.
Hold on, let me make my point. African Americans is the group that we're talking about. And it's clear what the definition of an African American is. Those that was enslaved and brought to America and had an ethnogenesis in America with Europeans and some indigenous tribes. That's what an African American is. And you can jump in there and think that FBA mean it's just a bunch of people talking. So last time I checked, the ethnogenesis of FBA is pseudoscientific, right? It's a pseudoscientific idea. Nobody who is grounded in science and political understanding would ever accept a group making stuff up. Nobody
Can
actually
you
does
tell
that.
me the
You have no
pseudo
power.
claim?
The pseudo
What's the
claim
pseudo claim?
is that there were black people in the Americas prior to Christopher Columbus. They're black explorers and black colonels, whatever the heck it was, mixed with some enslaved Africans. That's
Can
not true. That's
I
a
got a question.
pseudoscientific
I got
idea.
a
It's
I got a
not
question.
based in reality. It's based in a bunch of nonsense and a pseudo documentary. So
I got
nobody with intelligence, right? Nobody with a scientific background, no nation, no city, no state would sit up there and allow the people to make up something, right? It's not a political movement. It's not that. It's an internet-based movement, right? Based off of pseudoscientific ideas, and the people that follow it do not have enough acumen in quote unquote data or acumen in scientific literacy to even refute their own claims. But go ahead, Sanchez.
Okay, so are you familiar with an author by the name of LaRon Bennett? LaRon Bennett?
No, explain what he's saying.
All right, LaRon Bennett wrote a book called Here Before the Mayflower.
And
And this
Sounds
shaping
pretty.
of
book,
Black
What's the
America.
date?
okay,
What's the
okay,
date?
so
What's the date?
hold on, hold on a second, hold on. So look,
No,
just
I'm saying
pull,
what's the date of the book?
I'm not sure about when the book was written, but I'm sure that
In the 70s, I know Professor Lerone Bennett. He was one of my one of the first books we read in Black Studies under Dr. Leonard Jeffries. So
I'm familiar
so
with Before the Mayflower, but go ahead.
listen.
right,
So watch
Uh-huh.
this. So
Uh-huh.
you familiar with Dr. Renoko Rashidi, right?
All of them. Keep
Yeah.
yes,
going.
All right. So
I
All
I,
look,
of them.
I know him personally.
these are two brothers that I'm referencing. I'm just pulling them up as reference points to
Mhm.
that was always teaching about the black presence in
Of
America
course.
way
Of course.
before Columbus, way before slavery. And I can screen share right now too. I don't know if the screen share is open,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
I got
you can
So,
screen
images of
share if you want,
no,
Sanchez.
we're familiar with the author, Sanchez.
okay, but I just want to show you a picture of Renoko Rashidi next to this statue so you can see like
Yeah, we
hold
know.
on a
We all
second.
know who he is. We all know who he is. Yeah,
Because I'm just
yeah, we don't
saying
have a
that
problem
these
with him standing
the
beside that. That's not
Olmecs,
a.
bro, the
Go ahead.
Olmecs is black people in America before slavery, before look, listen,
That's
let me
not a
just say
person.
this and hold up, our land,
I
our
know, but
land, our
that's not a person right there.
hold on a second.
I know, but that's not a person though.
You gotta let me
Yo,
That's not a
you
person
gotta
though.
let him speak.
you gotta
Let him speak, brother.
I'm
gotta
letting
let
them
me
talk. I'm saying that's not a person. That's a
Yeah,
I
damn
hear
well,
you now. Let me
well,
right
you
let
can
me
do that when
I
he
hear you.
finished. You can do that when he
So
finishes.
listen, so check this out, right? Black men in America, we get fades, right? We get all I want to do, and it ain't gonna take me nothing but 30 seconds, right? Watch this. Black men in America, no one else in the world, right? Get a fade like us. This is an exclusive thing to America. And all I'm saying is we got statues right here of this same hairstyle with statues of a black man. Now, a person may say, look, this ain't a human and all that, boom, boom, boom. But Renoko Rashidi is the one I'm referencing. I'm not debating y'all. Y'all are debating teacher Rashidi right now because I'm just giving you his stuff. See, because I'm being lazy and I'm saying, hey, the elder did the work, and I'm just gonna let the elder talk through me. I'm gonna be the vessel. So you can confront the elder on this. Only
Hold on,
thing
man.
I'm
Nobody
saying,
jump in. Don't
Hey,
jump in.
Sanchez.
No, don't jump in, man. Let him
yeah,
finish.
I'm a ride off the work and the foundation of the elder who said we was here before. And here's Ivan Van Sertima teaching the same thing right here. So listen, it ain't just me saying that. Y'all are debating a rich foundation of information, brothers who took the trips to the lands and did it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they right or wrong or you right or wrong. I'm just saying
Sanchez.
I'm gonna lean on this rich
So,
history of
so,
information.
so, so Sanchez,
They've been
I
debunked
think, hold
already.
on for, come on, Asal, man. The point is that no one listening to this broadcast should just allow two scholars or
Three
perceive scholars. They're not even actually
and
scholars,
more than that
right?
too.
They did their work. They did their own. They were like private researchers. That's fine, right? They have no doctorate degree in anthropology and none of that. But I'm not mad at the mistakes they made. That's okay. The
That's
point
great.
is that it's 2026, and we're not sitting here appealing to the authority of some elders that got some things wrong. And we know they got it wrong because we can prove it and verify it through population genetics, through evolutionary theory, through modern anthropology. The picture you show right there, that is a monkey. That is the black monkey, and it's actually a symbolic
Wow.
symbol
Oh my
to the
God.
native. You talking when I'm talking because you're not ready for the answer. You can't talk when I'm talking. I'm saying lookership is the worst thing you can do in this conversation because I'm saying your eyes will lie to you, and I'm telling you, as you look at them two pictures you just showed, your eyes are lying to you. That is called the black monkey, and it's an indigenous symbol to those indigenous people. So we're disrespecting indigenous symbols, right? Based off of what we see. We're seeing
All
it
right,
wrong.
you
And
gotta,
I'm making
Man,
my point that
I heard that
at
one.
no
I
at
know
no
you
point,
playing.
at no point, at no point do we sit here and listen to Ivan Van Sertima or anybody you name because the verdict is in. The only people who argue this is FBA. Nobody can verify and prove what you said. Now, I'm willing to put on, hey, Sanchez, you know we already got it in before. We could do it again. I'm saying that's called the black monkey. And I'm saying I can prove and verify that
This a
through
monkey
modern
with a high
anthropology.
top fade. This
I'm
a monkey
saying,
with a high top
why not?
fade.
Why not? First of all, hold on. Don't nobody call my name to try to dive in the
I want to know
conversation.
who gave that
Let me
monkey
let
this
me
good ass
finish. Let
lineup
me
though.
finish.
That's
Let
a
me
fine
finish.
lineup on
I
that
know
monkey.
it's. I know you're gonna win that part of it, but why don't you show the whole statue? Is that a human line there? So you basically saying that's a Negro head on a monkey body. So that's what we doing now?
This
Is
is
that the game we playing? Is that the
wait a minute. What,
misinformation we
but
promote?
wait a minute. We see the Minotaur. We see the Sphinx in Egypt. Why it
No,
can't
no, no,
be
no, no,
true
no, no,
here?
no. That's not what I'm
Why it
saying.
can't be true
I'm
here?
saying that in that
All
particular
right,
region where the statue was found,
hold up, y'all.
that is
Hold up for a minute. Hey, Unc, do you have a source that you can show us right now, brother, showing us that this is a monkey?
Yeah,
hey,
with a
bro,
high
I'm in
top
my
fade.
car. I'm in my car. And I'm saying is on my broadcast, I have showed this before. I
I'll
got
pull
a
it up.
show.
Tell me
I
what to
will
put
have a
in.
show tomorrow, and I will
I'll
show
pull it
y'all
up.
that. This
I'll
is
pull it up for him, Star.
that particular monkey is sacred to the society that y'all now stealing from. Now we have
All right, hey, Unc, Sanchez said he will pull it up for you.
he don't listen. Listen what I'm trying to tell you. The point I'm making here is he who laughs, 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 laughs. Okay? So think I don't have it. And I'm saying we're
Last the
doing what
best.
colonialism did. Colonialism made up stuff. Is that not why we're here to fight that? That's why FBA is a pseudoscientific organization because they don't know the difference between a monkey and an African American. First of all Africans don't nowhere look like that, which is racism in its own right. The Negro does not look like that. They made that up. That was racism in the early anthropology. I'm going to say it again. Africans in Africa do not look like this. I
All
don't know
right,
why
Unc,
y'all
come
keep
on,
following
man.
the
I
racist
gotta pass the
tropes
mic.
that are produced.
All right, Reggie, go ahead. You got the floor, Dr. Reg.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Brother Sanchez, how are you again? I want to ask you a question,
I'm
and
good.
just please answer the question.
I got
Uh,
you.
the foundational Black Americans, who are they?
The foundational Black Americans is in the name. What you asking me?
Okay,
Like,
so these are the
okay,
people that built America. These are the people who were enslaved to build America, right? So these are the people that did some of our.
let me answer your question. The foundational Black Americas ain't limited to slavery, because the Olmecs was never enslaved, but they was here since the foundation of this. They built the first civilizations on this land.
Mhm.
You know, so when we talk about the Pilgrims coming to this land and starting civilization,
Mhm.
no, what they did was just integrated themselves into
Okay, so let
civilizations
me
that
finish
was here.
making my point. Okay, so we're talking about the United States, so we're not talking about no Olmecs. And when we refer to the foundational Black Americans, we're talking about those
Talking about the
Africans.
land,
We're talking about those Africans who are the foundation of what we are, because they gave their lives. They fought in the Revolutionary War. They fought in the Civil War. They fought in all wars. They gave us great inventions.
I'm with you.
They went by the names of
You ain't
people like.
hearing me though, Reggie.
No, because what I'm just trying to say is you're trying to make everybody in America, right? Everybody in the Americas the Black man of America, and
I'm
that's
not trying to make
problematic.
everybody an Olmec, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, the
No.
Olmecs are not in the United States.
So, but listen, I get what you're saying. It's because the Olmecs, when they was in this land, it wasn't called America. It
But
wasn't.
they weren't in the United States under. So we go back to reparations. Reparations is for those people that were tied to the enslavement. So
I get what you're saying.
Okay,
but guess
great.
what though? The people who would, this is what I'm saying. That when the Pilgrims came over here, the founding fathers, quote unquote, who came and founded the land. When you talk about the word foundation, foundational Black American, the word found is in the word foundation for a reason. Is deeper than the person who, hold on, it's deeper than the people who built the foundation. Is who was the first ones to find this land in the first place. And it wasn't Columbus. There was people here before Columbus, so you didn't find nothing. That's
okay,
like you saying
I
you found
understand.
so
I understand, but let me finish, and then I'm always short. At any rate, and the brother's right. These are the Garifuna people, and also they became the Garifuna people, and they may have come over from the Oceania, right? With dark skin, but a different culture, an Asiatic, oceanic African. But let me get to my point, brother Sanchez. Those people that was foundational, they're all dead. They're dead. Everybody connected to these periods that you're talking about are dead. It is crazy for a group of people to call themselves based on a group of people that actually did the work, foundational, when we're living in different times. It don't make no sense. Foundational, the original ancestors, who you might say be foundational to the United States, right?
I got a question for you, Reggie.
The last of them are dead. So you're misusing words. You're misusing compound words, and you do not you, but the people that thought about this. You do this in junior high school. In high school, you start to read dictionaries. You understand words better. Certainly in college, the people that created foundational Black Americans either did it for in their ignorance, or did it for a particular purpose to psych you out. Now I'm gonna listen to you, good brother. What do you want to say?
So when you say that the Olmecs are dead, my ancestors would always live through me. So one thing about our ancestors, they will never die. They live through us, and that goes for my African ancestors too. Because I would think that at some point, every human is related at some point, because we all one big species. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Someone is at the front door.
Okay, so I made my point.
Well, hold on. You
off.
gotta let me land, Reggie. You gotta let me land, because somebody just got a DoorDash or something, but it interrupted me. But the thing is this, right? It'll be like the person who's a comedic guy saying, well, all the Egyptians dead, so your point is null and void. No, the Egyptian person gonna tell you they still living through me. We are the Egyptians.
No,
So
I don't agree with that dumb shit.
So, but hold on. What I'm saying is this though. My grandmother is dead, but I'm still a representative of her.
But
you
you're
see
not
what I'm
her.
saying? But I'm
Give
not
her
saying I'm
due.
her. This is what I'm telling you right here. You got to let me speak too, because I just let you speak. What I'm saying is this. I am my grandmother's DNA. I am my grandmother's lineage, because that's what FBA is. It's a lineage-based group. So what I'm saying is no one forget their lineage, just like the Jews don't let you forget the Holocaust, right? So that's all it's saying, is that I would never say my ancestors is dead. I would say, yeah, physically they are, but spiritually and genetically they live through all of us, in my opinion, my humble opinion, and I'll just fall back.
Okay, my last words on that. Okay, so Sanchez, you got a great mind. You could put some things together, right? That's why you're Brother Sanchez, right? And that's why, you know, we like when you come on this platform to examine the things that you say. You didn't create the FBA,
right?
So you're a convert to the FBA. You're a
Not
convert
a
to
convert.
the ideology.
You can't
Let me
convert
speak
to
now.
your lineage.
Let me speak now. Let me speak. So because you take on part of the things that you like, right? It's the problem. The problem is the things that we will say to you that you won't like. The FBAs, those people in the past, they are gone. They're gone. It's a time period. You and us, we are descendants of.
Somebody got some rumble going over you. Hold on. But
Well,
you got it.
Right.
You
We
got
are
it. Go ahead.
descendants of those great Black folks that created and struggled and lived and died in this country to give us, to hopefully that we will fulfill their promise, which we will not do. The problem, Brother Sanchez, with is when you come on and you start bringing in things that to try to make sense of something when the point is clear. Those people in that chronology, those people that built the Olmec heads, first of all, they're not in the United States. Second of all, right, all of our great people that we talk about, the Harriet Tubman, the Booker T. Washington, the Du Bois, all of those, they're done. They're deceased. Now you come up to save that argument that their blood lives through you, right? What about so that becomes the problem when we have these discussions, and that's where it goes into it becomes pseudoscientific. I'll stop and I'm gonna listen.
I just want to say this to Sanchez real quick.
Yo, who's speaking? Who's speaking?
Kim.
You got a cam up, brother, so I can see you. Let me see. I don't be knowing. Okay, go ahead, Cam.
I just want to say I don't know if when people be citing Ivan Van Sertima work to say that Black Americans always been in America, if they actually read the work, because in that work it doesn't say that Black Americans always been in America. In that work it talk about Africans making first contact with the Native Americans that was in America, the indigenous people. Not that we was the first people to the land. And the people that they talking about are African every time. So why do y'all keep trying to say we were always here, but then try to not say you African at the same time, and then use Ivan Van Sertima work to say that when that's not even what he's saying? That is crazy.
Okay, can I answer it? Is it on me now? All right, so appreciate that, brother. I know exactly what Ivan Van Sertima was saying. I'm gonna tell you like this. I don't see nothing wrong with a person saying I'm indigenous to America, because that only means you the first person here. So if the Olmecs were the first Americans, they ain't wrong by saying they're Americans, even if your theory is they come from Africa. See, the out of Africa theory is just that, it's theory. So if someone don't subscribe to science's interpretation or their explanation or their theory for how all life began and how it expanded from a central point or a single location, right? If someone don't subscribe to that, then by all means they can make up their theory. about it, and they can say, well, I think humans were already everywhere in the beginning. You know, they can have all of their, at the end of the day, they're just theories, and I don't even think that's the important part. I think the important part is who are the first ones that set foot on American soil, because those are the true founding fathers. And so my whole thing would be the people who claiming that they found something are ignoring the people who was here before them. So even if you want to believe that those people came here from African, it don't change the fact that the people who saying they founded this land are lying, and that was a great black civilization here. And that's what I'm doing when I pull up Ivan Van Sertima or Runoko Rashidi. I don't have to agree with them guys on everything to agree that, guess what, the people who saying that they was here first, they lying, because here go research of people who was here before them. Now we can debate on where did the Olmecs come from, where did the black guys who was here first come from, and that'll be a whole nother portion of the debate. But what I'm trying to establish right now is that Negro presence, black presence was here, and it was established before the Mayflower, and that what was being denied by Reggie at first. He denied that, and I got to pull this up to show where you're wrong before we move forward. That's it.
No, what I'm saying is, even with using those words, you still misrepresenting what the work is saying, because those works aren't saying that the black people, the Africans that came to this land, was the first people on the land. The work talking about them making contact with the people who was on this land first, and
Who
that
was here
those
before
people
them?
who let me
African
finish.
presence.
And
Great point.
those Africans that made contact with the indigenous people, they saying in the book that those people came before Columbus. Not that we was always here, we was the first people here. So I'm saying you still not even using the work right in the way that the people who wrote it.
Okay, so watch this though then.
That's a great point.
Here go to let me and the brother Bill, bro.
I know, but don't run that
Fall
stop
back.
sign. Stay there with him. Stay.
I'm gonna stay there with him. Fall back. Here go what I don't get about Pan-Africans, right? Somebody mic loud in the background, but check this out. I'm gonna use the Pan-African theory, what y'all teach, to show you where y'all ain't sticking to y'all.
Whoa, nobody's a Pan-African though, yo. Why you do that?
Hold on, bro.
Yo,
Why you can't just let
please,
me build,
brother,
bro?
you gotta stop cutting in. Let the brother finish, and you can add on when he finished. But I got the sister next.
Yeah, I forgot. I lost my mind in the middle of the
bro.
lie. My fault.
Okay, bro. Thank you, bro. Right. So people who subscribe to the out of Africa theory, they say that Africans had already populated every continent before any race showed up. That's basically what they say, that the black man went around the world and created all civilizations, and that the white man is the Johnny come lately. So what I'm doing, I'm going to use the out of Africa theory to show you where they being hypocritical, right? Because no matter what they say, the first people on this land would have been black, copper colored, some form of melanated person, right? And that's what they trying to hide and deny right now. So you can say it was a Mongoloid, a white person. You could go into all these other groups, but it goes against the out of Africa theory itself, in my opinion, which says that Africans went around the world out of Africa and populated and established all these lands before any of these other groups showed up, because they ain't nothing but mutations that happen over time from Africans staying in these places too long. If you want to just simplify it.
All right, let me go on over to the sister. Queen, what's up? Unmute yourself.
There you go. There I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
First, I want to say peace to everybody on the panel. I heard a lot, so I'm going to just speak to what I just heard. When it comes to the out of Africa theory that people love to use, they forget that once you get out of Africa, you kind of have admixtures with other like things out there. You have Denisovans, you have Neanderthals, that's all being mixed in with these black people that change those haplogroups. It's not the same A00 or, you know, the E that leaves Africa that is making it to America. By the time they make it to America, you have a whole lot of Asian DNA in you. You have a whole lot of Denisovan DNA in you. So just to put a blanket statement on, oh, these are just black people or they just have black features, because I don't know if you ever looked at a Mexican who is indigenous of the Mexicans, like they have those same broad nose, high cheekbones features that we have. So you can't just go by the features on the statue and pretend as if that statue means that that's a black person of the same line as you. And that's where I kind of like that's why I distance myself from the FBA movement, because within it kind of does roll off of just looking at things and not necessarily having the information on the things that you're talking about. As far as the, I'm gonna just stop right there, but because it was a lot said, so I just wanted to put that little tidbit in there.
Can I respond to that, sa.neter?
Drop a bomb, please. Drop a bomb.
Yes, you respond.
No, sister, we need you on this channel.
Drop a bomb. Please drop a bomb.
Thank you.
All right, everybody be quiet. Sanchez, you can respond.
Well, why you letting him respond when I need to respond?
I want to ask you a quick question to the sister before I go on my little response. And salutes to the sister. Sister, are you familiar with the concept of what we call the quote unquote Black African American being what's called the Negro of America, who we call the Negro in America? Are you
I've
familiar
heard of it,
with
yes.
the word Negro? Okay, so my thing about that is this. sa.neter, show my screen real quick with my statue again. The people who gave y'all the out of Africa theory, they're telling you that these black people here was El Negro. So when we talk about us being descendants of this black man, who can tell me I'm wrong? Who can, because think about it. Even if you say this black man right here come from Africa, I ain't even debating you on that. I'm just saying that's my great granddaddy. And I'm telling the white people who said that they founded this country, you're a lie, because here go my great granddaddy. Now, pan-Africanism versus FBA is an infight. But what I'm pointing out to you right now is something both of us should get behind, because even if you're a Pan-African, guess what you're saying? You're saying that this dude come from Africa. That's a different debate where he come from. The point that we're making is he was here before the Mayflower. He was here before the folks that call themselves the founders.
Can I just respond really quickly?
Oh, can I dive in? Come on.
Yeah, really fast. Can I just respond?
Let them have their dialogue. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sis.
I just wanted to say, like, as we, and I believe it was you that made the conversation. I don't know for sure that, you know, there's different tribes in Africa. So we wouldn't say the San and the Dogon are the same type of tribe. We wouldn't even say they have the same haplogroup all the way, right? So we know that they have different cultures. We know that they are different tribes. So why is it when it comes to America, we just want to lump all of these cultures into one group and say that those are your grandparents? That's not how that works. Hold on. Because in order for you to tell me that that's your grandparent, you going to tell me that you also did a DNA test? Or are you just claiming it because of the features?
I'll let you know.
And that would be a little illogical, right? That would be illogical to say that because me and this person looks alike, that means that we are cousins, knowing that there's tribes out there that separate people. Especially when you're talking about coming from West Africa, because that's where, you know, the transatlantic slave trade comes from. And the people that migrated from Africa through Asia, met Denisovans, stopped in Mongolia, went across the Bering Strait. That's a lot of generations before you get to South America, whether you're talking about going through the Bering Strait or going through the islands in the southern, right, in the Pacific. Either way, you have different cultures that's happening. So you can't just claim all of that as yours without the DNA test to prove that you are one of those people.
I'll respond to, let me respond to her without them cutting in with the little pom-poms too. I want to have a civilized conversation back and forth. So the thing is this, she going off one account of history, right? She's glued to one account of history. And when she tells me that have I done a DNA test to prove that I'm that man on the screen, that ain't even the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is that the white folks who said that they were the first ones who founded this, they call themselves the founders, right? They're not. They're not the found. If both of us can agree that the people who said that they discovered this land were lying because there were a Negro group here, then I can ask you, who was that Negro group here that was before the Mayflower? If you say that group come from Africa, fine. The whole point is this: if you say all of us are descendants of Africans because of the out of Africa theory, then I can claim this as my forefather, just like I can claim an Egyptian pharaoh. We do that every day. Niggas say we the Egyptians, we the pharaohs. Ain't nobody testing their DNA. All of us, if we going by the slave trade, we didn't even come from East Africa. We come from West Africa, but we still claim Egypt. So my thing is this right here. No one is doing a DNA test when they put their Egyptian garb on, because if they did, they would have to put on they would know that they come from somewhere in West Africa, according to the out of Africa theory. My point is this right here, though. When they wear the Egyptian garb, they're basically saying that the Egyptian people that are on that land ain't the real Egyptians, they false claiming. So when we say, listen, these pilgrims that's claiming this land like they the real Americans, or they founded this joint, they are imposters. Now, as black people, we can go argue among ourselves about where did the first Negro people come from who was here. But first thing first, let's let the folks know in power, y'all ain't find nothing. And that's all I'm saying. I think the division needs to stop, because all we doing in FBA is saying some of us come from Africa, some of us always been here, some of us believe in out of Africa theory, some of us don't. But the point is, behind the whole movement is we were here first. We as in the Negro group.
I get that, and I understand that, but I think you misrepresented who I was as a person, right? And what my ideologies are. I'm following the topic, and this is what you presented, right? So even in this idea that, the white people, the European, the Spanish wasn't here first, there was people here. I'm cool with you on that. Where it delineates for me is when we try to superimpose ourselves into other people's histories. When it comes to the Negroid being the first people, okay, that's fine. We can talk about that all the live long day. But are you that? No. And especially you saying like you being an indigenous person only, that doesn't make sense to me. You have at least over 400 grandparents between now and the 1700s. So you're trying to say that every one of them name was Eagle Flies? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you got some Tyrones and Jeromes and Jacksons all up in your lineage. There's no Tiger Lilies in your lineage. So this is where I'm confused with the FBA movement, right? Because a lot of it is talking about how you're not of African descent, or trying to separate yourself from Africa.
So you're misrepresenting
Sir, I let you misrepresent me on silent.
I just presented my stuff.
I get that. I get that. I'm just saying when you presented, I was quiet. That's all I'm saying. So I'm gonna just land my plane with this, because we've been talking for a while. Is Facts. If you're not talking about the mixture of Black Americans in this country, you are lying to Black Americans. You have indigenous American blood in you. You have West African blood in you. You can even have East African blood in you. You won't really know until you do your DNA test. But this idea that you have always only been here and all of your ancestors' name is riding with wolves, that's not true. And you're basing your ideology on lies. And that's where the more learned people are catching up on, and that's where I land. Thank you.
Now, sorry, you got to let me land, and then we can move forward. Here's what she's misrepresenting, because I never misrepresented her. I didn't even deal with
Cam
what
up,
she said.
cam up.
I'm about to cam up right now for you, but I want to screen share though. Put the screen share on right here. So here's the thing. I'm not basing it on nothing but what the scholars taught, that the Negro had the first presence in America. I don't care what y'all say. When you deal with the out of Africa theory, it states that the first people arrived in America was melanated. Let's use the word melanated or Negroid. You got to put a foreigner here first and be divisive, which is why I'm rocking with FBA, because all FBA doing is saying, look, the people who saying that they found what are the founders of this land, they ain't do no DNA test. They just claiming it. You got a whole group in power called Israelites who get their identity from the Bible, and they ain't doing no DNA tests. So my whole thing is we got rich research that shows that Negroes was here first. I'm not trying to debate with my brothers and sisters about where these Negroes come from, who I am, and who you is, right? I'm trying to debate to the world that the people in power here is lying about who they are as the founders of this land. So I think that we spending a lot of time going through circles arguing with each other about who we are versus putting these imposters on the stand who's saying that they founded this country, saying that they ain't who they saying they are. So I'd rather argue with the world about the white people in power here not being the real fathers or founders versus argue with y'all about what the first Negroes come from and what about my lineage. Because the people who run this country, they got questionable lineage. They're foreigners. They ain't here. That's the point of mine, right? The point of my whole thing with FBA is some of us, hey, it's a lot going on in the background, sa.neter, with wind and coughing and all that. When the sister was talking, everybody was muted. So I want to land my plane, but it's a lot of little side hate going on because I'm dropping bombs.
Everybody go on mute until I call on y'all. Go on mute. Put your hand down, Apostle.
So check this out, right? This is why I say all these other groups is being divisive, because we got a group of people in here. No one won't question their identity. They're called Zionists. We was talking about them earlier, sa.neter. These people got a fake identity that nobody questioned, and y'all questioning our real identity as the first Negroes in America just because we want to debate on are we Africans or not. Me as a FBA dude, I'm saying some dudes are from some of us are from Africa, some of us ain't, and you still FBA. Everybody, and you may say, well, all of us from Africa because of the out of Africa theory. But I ain't here to debate theories. I'm here to tell the truth that we know for a fact that the person who's saying they founded this land are imposters. But we putting each other on trial versus coming together against the people who in power. We ain't in power, so it don't matter if we debate all day. These folks in power and folks believe them as being the founding fathers of this land, when we know that our forefathers founded this land, and we can debate later about we got an identity crisis as Black people. So we're going to debate about who we are, and we might not never be right about it. But one thing we can come together on right now is that the people who have been claiming that they discovered something didn't do it. That's all I was saying. I think that was going over y'all head.
All right. To move along real quick. Hey, Unc, I got you, and then I got Apostle. Let's go, Unc.
Okay, so first of all, I want to deal with the sister who sounded the most intelligent out of everybody so far, and I just want to make a correction on it. The out of Africa theory does not posit that when Homo sapiens sapiens left out of Africa, that they mixed with other humans and their haplogroup changed. That's not what it was. They absolutely mixed with other humans, Homo denisovans and Homo Neanderthal. Homo denisovans actually mixed with people that ended up in the Adamese island, coming from Asia, Western Asia. And the first Homo sapiens sapiens that left Africa mixed with Homo neanderthalis. And so these are still Africans, but they're called non-Africans. This is in the literature. Okay, so although I'm saying they're non-Africans, they're still Africans. Fundamentally speaking, all human beings are Africans, but they're non-African and African. And so by the time they reached to America, they went through mutation processes based off of radiation, uh, breaking down their causing mutations would cause them to mutate, and we call that selection. These particular humans get fit to their environment. By the time they get to Americas, they have a whole nother haplogroup. Not because they mix with other archaic humans outside of Africa, because it's called natural selection. Now, Sanchez made egregious mistake. First of all, this is not a Pan-African quote unquote theory. It's a scientific theory. It has nothing to do with Pan-Africanists. Has all to do with science and science literacy and Charles Darwin. So Charles Darwin came up with the first person to posit that humans started out in Africa. So it's not a Pan-African thing. It's not a FBA thing. It's a scientific literacy thing. So I want to be very, very clear. Second of all, humans is on this panel do not descend from that particular monkey that you keep showing. That is not your great-great-grandmother. Your great-great-grandmother was not a monkey. That is absolutely a picture of, they call it the black monkey, which is a religious symbol in these North American quote-unquote civilizations. The lookership has failed you. No one looks at a statue and say, well, this statue is black and this statue is a Negro. That's not how they do it. There are more things you have to match up to history, historical documentation. You have to match up genetics, but you continue to show and claim that our great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother was a monkey. I think that to be ridiculous. We can all look it up. I'll be doing the show tomorrow around 12 o'clock on this particular topic, showing you the black monkey and how it's essential to these Native Americans. I rest my case.
All right. Sanchez, you want to respond before I go to Apostle?
Yeah, I definitely want to respond to Unc's nonsense because he don't even know his own science. This is what I'm saying. I wouldn't even debate him on the out of Africa theory or Darwin, because you got to know what you teaching for you can debate it. First of all, Darwin didn't create the out of Africa theory. He did not. That's a lie. The out of Africa theory was not created by one single person. It developed in stages, but the modern version was formally established in the late 20th century. Y'all can look all this up. The theory became mainstream by Alan Wilson, Rebecca Cann, and Mark Stone King. Have you ever heard of any of those names, Uncle?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about. Charles Darwin was the first person to say that. He's the first person to
Have you,
claim that
hold on, brother.
anthropoid apes are more aligned with
Hold on, brother. Hold on,
humans.
brother.
That's
No, brother.
Darwin.
That ain't what I asked you, bro. Have you ever
Yeah,
heard of
you
Alan
said the
Wilson?
modern you said the modern
Bro,
synthesis of it,
listen,
Sanchez.
listen,
There's a
listen.
difference, bro.
All right, let me just get the mic back. I ain't got no questions for you. First of all,
Thank you,
right,
sir.
y'all. This what he's been dishonest about. Darwin did not create the out of Africa theory. The out of Africa theory is a theory that evolved over time based upon Darwin's work. And that's just a fact. And I don't know why he had to lie like that. Why lie about that? And again, the out of Africa theory is what I had on trial, not the Pan-African theory. That's silly. Pan-Africanism it ain't got none. You can be see, the thing about Pan-Africanism, I'm not necessarily debating a Pan-African theory because the Pan-Africans didn't make the out of Africa theory. Pan-Africanism is like a cultural movement that is based upon a scientific theory of the out of Africa theory. So no, it's not the Pan-African theory, which Unc said, which is another wrong thing that he did. It's the out of Africa theory, and that's what we're talking about, Unc. So again, you showing up today talking about that Darwin didn't create the out of that he did create the out of Africa theory, but he didn't. He just didn't. You got to prove that. But the point is,
you just read that, bro.
I'm about the land.
Okay.
The point is what I'm verifying is something that I've been knew. When you said it, I thought I was wrong. I'm honest enough to go back check and see if I'm right. And it's validating what I originally thought, that Darwin did not create it. But I'll land here, right? I'll land here.
So
This is very,
Sanchez,
I'm about to land here. I'm about to land here. This is the last sentence. This is very divisive. What FBA represent is, if you from Africa, no matter where you from, if the Negro is being undermined in every continent, if melanin is under attack in every continent, then what we're saying, if melanin was first in every continent. Now, this is something I hear, that everywhere you look, brown skin is being oppressed. And if that's true, and if brown skin was first on every continent, then the people that's in power in these places are lying about being the quote unquote fathers, and we need to put some respect on the first copper-colored, brown-skinned people of these lands. And America, we need to start with first. I fall back.
Yeah, clear mistake. Clear mistake. You use the word melanin. All human beings have melanin. It's just different levels of it. So that's a mistake. So that's a mistake to say melanated.
The other brother
all
used
human,
first.
You cut me. I got one mic. I said all humans are melanated. Just some have heavy levels of melanin based off of the melanocytes. The next point is you said out of your mouth that it's Charles Darwin work that gave rise to the scientific theory. You're right. So Charles Darwin is the first person. You did. You said it. You made a mistake and said it.
Not
but you
the
said
scientific theory, but the out of. I said out. He didn't have nothing to do with the out of Africa theory, is what I said.
Okay, but the out of Africa theory is a scientific theory, and it was based off of Charles Darwin work because he's the first person to make a scientific prediction that said that humans are more likely found on Africa than anywhere else based off of the anthropoid apes. Right? He made a scientific prediction, which is the greatest thing you can do in science, just to make that point relevant. And so you're messing it all up. You're confusing the audience. And this is the reason why FBA is pseudoscientific, because they don't understand the scientific theory. You disrespect scientific theories because you're scientifically illiterate on said subject. So you should probably just get off of that and stick with the FBA, but get out of the scientific history and historical accuracy because you're just wrong. I rest my case. I will be doing the show on the Black Monkey tomorrow. I will verify my point, and I will tell you.
Go at it a little, sir. Let me
not for free, but not for free.
Come on,
not for free,
man.
Sanchez.
You know we're gonna now, you know, man, you gonna arrange some big shit for him, but let's give him a little free show real quick.
We already giving it to him. We already giving it to him.
I know you don't want the smoke. Go ahead.
I want the smoke off top. I want the smoke on top.
We'll set it up. We're gonna set it up. We're gonna set it up.
Right. I'll call y'all. Let me get on Apostle. Apostle, what's up, brother?
Thanks, Sa, for allowing me to come on. Shalom to the guests. Shalom to the people out there. And with your permission, Sa, if the sister got a presentation, I like to present her on Coliseum, if I may. So I'm going to offer to allow the sister to come on and do her presentation on her information. I would love for you to come and sit with me for a couple of hours and do that.
But Apostle, real quick, Apostle, this is a scientific sister right here that you're talking to. And I don't want to bring her over there to argue with you about no Bible.
I'm not arguing about no Bible. Don't do that.
You're going to rip it and tear it apart.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
I have to let you know what you're dealing with, what you're getting ready to get into, brother.
Brother, I know what I'm getting into.
I don't want her screaming at the top of her lungs trying to get through to you, brother. I think this the wrong sister you calling, man. Come on, brother.
I'm not calling the sister
to save you. I'm trying to save you from this.
Brother, I'm not calling the sister to debate her. I'm calling on the sister to bring people to the show. Bro. If I might do that.
Okay.
You're meddling. Please, I know what I'm doing.
Okay. It's up to the sister.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, brother. So I'm out, man.
You want to have a conversation? So you want to have a conversation about this?
Yeah,
this topic in particular.
Do a presentation. Yes. on this subject.
Okay, about the out of Africa or how I don't believe in the FBA movement. Like, which one we talking about exactly?
You can
Okay.
present both. I think it's interesting. It's an interesting title, and I think the audience would like to hear that. And I would love to do it on Coliseum.
That's facts.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm gonna put
I would
my
love
name
to have
in.
a conversation about that.
What's your name? No, I just give it to you.
East,
Write this
yeah,
down.
it's just Issa Queen.
Okay, write this down. 843
Gotcha.
338 3407.
3407.
Yes.
Okay.
And give me a call and we can set up a date.
Gotcha.
All right. Now let me get to the meats and the bones about the whole situation. I like what Sanchez is bringing to the table. I noticed that he's in the title. So that's why we're hearing from him a lot. Some people in the chat were saying, I'm hearing from Sanchez more than Reggie. So, yeah. And I like what the sister brought to the table. And I think really they can find a common error where they can maybe agree. I personally have Native ancestry, but I also have African ancestry. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I think we all can do that. And my Native ancestry didn't look like those that came through the Burn Street. They didn't look like that. I remember seeing pictures of my mother's grandmother. So, you know, my mother said, this is my grandmother. And wow, okay. And she was full-blooded Cherokee. So what am I to say? And I believe that Lerone Bennett, in his book, Before the Mayflower, which I did read, and Ivan Van Sertimer, which I did hear from. I didn't read his book, but I did hear him do lectures before he was banned. He couldn't come to America, so he did it out of South America. But about the Olmec heads, I was under influence that that's what Sanchez was showing. I didn't know he was showing a picture of a monkey. I thought he was showing one of the Olmec heads. Because depending upon when they were built, they look different. That's like the pyramids. Depending upon when the pyramids and who built them, they look different. So, you know, we know about the main 3 or 4, the Great Pyramid, how smooth, but then you got a bunch of step pyramids that look like ruins. So I thought that one that Sanchez was showing was just something that been weathered over time, but it looked like the regular Olmec heads to me. And they do look Africoid, Negroid. As far as, I mean, even with the braids in the back of their heads. So Sanchez, I'm glad you're here. It's been a while since you've been here.
I appreciate it.
I don't know that much about FDA. I don't vote, and I'm not planning on voting anymore, ever. They done lost me altogether. I guess my vote wouldn't matter if I was still living in DC, but now, because when I left DC, DC was at least 85% black. Now it's 48% black. They done took my city over. It's no longer Chocolate City. And where I live, it's all right-wing politics, local and federal. So I have no reason to vote here. I'm just glad that finally these Republicans are waking up to Donald Trump. And they're not afraid of Donald Trump primarying them. And they taking a stand today. And they saying, we're not going to allow you to do this. Trample on our Constitution by threatening us that you have somebody to primary us. Even the dude in South Carolina, the senator of South Carolina stood up, and he done flip-flopped all over the place. So, yeah, man, it's terrible out here, man, for a black man trying to make a living. Thank God I don't have to worry about that no more. I just want to make sure my check go in every month. That's
All
what
right.
I care about.
Thank you, Apostle. Rob Noxious, what's up, man? What you got?
What up? I want to give a shout out to Word Salad Sanchez, my #1 grifter.
Hey, sa.neter, can we get this white supremacist up out of here? This trailer park trash up out of here?
Okay, got you.
I came here today for strictly my people. I don't need this, because guess what? If he can call me a grifter among y'all, he can call you one, sa.neter, if he ever get mad at you.
I agree, brother. He's gone. All right. Let me get to God. How much you heard, God Energy?
I'm actually late to the presentation. I don't know if Brother Sanchez supports Pan-Africanism or FBA. You know, I just wanted to come up here to hear what was going on. But I support Pan-Africanism all day. And if we trying to talk about our ancestry, we got the proof about who we are as a people and how we're from Africa. Even though there were melanated peoples here, we are not descended wholly from those melanated people. But
can I ask this brother a quick question?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, it's a couple of them, and they yes or no questions. But if you want to go in a little bit, I ain't tripping on it, my brother. Salutes to you too. Were Africans the first people to be on the earth? Because I want to make sure I understand the out of Africa there clearly. Were Africans the first people, my brother? God, what is his name? God is energy. Were Africans the first people? Right. Did Africans create civilization on every continent before the caveman showed up?
So you asked two different questions in one. I'm going to answer the first question.
Go ahead.
The answer to your first question is yes. Africans are the first people on the planet. The hominin species, right? Homo sapiens, the hominins in general, came about and evolved in Africa.
Gotcha.
Homo sapiens were around for nearly 200,000 years before we even left Africa. So yes, the human species is from Africa.
So you're saying that the first people on this land were Africans. Now I'm gonna ask you another quick specific question.
Wait a minute. On which land? If you're talking about
America,
the first,
I'm talking about America. Yeah. So
the
first people
that's
on
a
this
next
land were. Let me ask the question just to be clear.
Good.
According to the out of Africa theory, Africans left Africa, and they were the first ones on every land. So the first people on American land were Africans, yes or no? So I can move on. I'm getting somewhere with this.
No problem. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to clarify. There were two out of Africa migrations, one around the 1000s, 120s, 120,000 BCE. Those people did not survive. So those Africans, they made it to the Americas, they made it across Europe, but they did not survive. They were killed off and did not survive. Then another out of Africa migration happened around 80,000 BC, and that's where the later populations of humans come from. By the time, by the time that group made it to the Americas, though, they had already intermixed with Homo neanderthalis and Homo longi. So those peoples that made it to the Americas, you would not consider 100% African, even though they descended from Africans.
Okay, so what you're saying is that Africans left the continent, but by the time they got here, they was no longer Africans. So my whole thing is this right here. Mute everybody. We got some ringing going, so that's very annoying. I can't respond with the ringing. Can you mute the ringing? Thank you. So you just said the people that was here first wasn't really Africans because they had mutated. Well, then that's what we're saying about FBA being a distinct group and an ethnogenesis, brother. That's what we're saying. If a person in FBA say, I'm not an African, I descended from the group you talking about that was here. They were Africans, but they were mixed Africans, right? So who would be able to tell that group that they're wrong? You don't know these people. Now a person
Can
may
I
apply.
clarify?
Hold on, no, I'm still cooking.
Okay.
Now let you go for a minute, bro. Just let me go here, getting
Yes,
somewhere,
sir.
right?
Yes,
The
sir.
thing is this: either the first people in America were pure Africans or they wasn't. If you're gonna say no, they ain't really Africans, then you can't now force FBA to be Africans. This is now being stupid. What are we doing, man?
Now can I respond? Because I never said I'm trying to force FBA to be Africans. FBA
I didn't
have
say
the
you did.
no problem. No problem. I'll just speak in general. It's great meeting you, brother Sanchez. I've heard of you before. I'm not your enemy, so I'm just enjoying the dialogue.
Much love for
So
sure, man. Thank
so
you.
so with that though, what I'm saying is those peoples that first made it to the Americas, they were melanated. They were most likely related to Melanesians and Australians and people of Melanesia today. What I'm saying is our group of people that call each other FBA, you are not descended from those Olmecs. You
I
are
would
not
know
descended. Hold on,
my
just
lineage.
hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Our group is not descended from those early melanated Aboriginal Americans. We descend from the slave population that was brought here. So no matter how melanated that original Olmec and pre-Olmec, being Makoya civilization, because it's important to talk about the pre-Olmec Makoya, right? We are not descended from those peoples. They have a different haplogroup than we share. And right there is where you can start to show the original melanated population of America is different from the group that's called FBA, trying to link themselves to those melanated peoples. You can prove that melanated peoples were here in the Americas. What you cannot prove and what has been disproven is that the modern African American or Black population in America is related to those peoples.
Where
We
your
are not
receipts
related
just
to them.
talking. You because guess what? What you're doing is this right here. Everybody in the world, when they meet a person, they ask them who they are. They don't tell them who they are. Just like Sa asked me earlier. He said, Sanchez, do you have any, like, are you Hispanic? Because guess what? You can't just look at a person and tell what they are. You would be doing what they call lookership. So what I'm saying is if you don't know me, which you don't, I'm a stranger to you. You would have to ask me who I am. You don't know if anybody is part of the original haplogroups or the original mutated African that here. You wouldn't know. Hold on, it's a lot of going on in the
All right, you next, sis. You next.
because every time I'm talking, we get phones ringing and big nostril breathing, like fogging up the camera going. But check this out right here. The point is this: you don't know who people are, and Black people shouldn't be going around. Show me your ID like you ICE or something. Guess what we should be doing? Telling the people who saying that they're the first people of this land, that they founded this land, to prove it. Prove they was first. Because guess what? The people who in power here, which are none of us, they are the liars about who was here first. All of us agree on one thing. The first group that was here was some type of Negro. Because to me, if you a mixed Negro, you still a Negro. Y'all make the argument all the time that when white folks look at Blacks, they look at all of us the same, no matter we FBA or African. So why try to distinguish a group now? If you're going to distinguish the first American Negroes as their own group, then you can't really have a problem with FBA, in my opinion. It's hypocritical. Either they Africans or they're a distinct group due to ethnogenesis that mutated. Now, you saying that the Blacks here can't claim the indigenous ancestry to this land, but at the same time, I don't think you can say that just because some people mixed. If you got a dominant gene, which is what the out of Africa theory is teaching, that at the end of the day, the African gene is the strongest, which is why they always show you these statues and they show you the Negro features overpowering any other mixture, just like the Olmec heads, right? The African side of it is overpowering, and the slave master would have said you a Black dude and treated you the same. But when it come to us arguing about who are the original people here, it's like y'all want to give it to this strange foreign group besides our ancestors, and that start to look real weird to me.
All right, Issa Queen, let's go.
Thank you. See, it's not strange, it's just being accurate, right? These people have a culture, they have a history, and the more that we superimpose our ethnic ourselves into their history, it becomes an issue. There's things that happen to the indigenous American people, like the genocide of them, that didn't happen to the foundational Black American because we were slaves and they were breeding us. That's a difference, a big difference. When you look inside of the African American culture, the root of it is African, with the drums, with the way we dance, with the way we move our hips, with the way we move. All of that comes from Africa. And that's why I made the point earlier that if we were these indigenous people, why don't you see these indigenous traditions in the root of our Black culture? You don't see that. Hip hop was starting with African bambatas and Grand Nubians and Grand Poobas. They wasn't incorporating Native American or indigenous culture or Aztec culture inside of ours. So just culturally, we link ourselves back to Africa. It's very illogical to look at all of our culture that have similarities with Africa and then completely take Africa out of our culture. And then lastly, when we talk about these haplogroups and the out of Africa theory, and when I spoke about how we migrated through Asia, when we migrated through Asia, like God Energy was talking about, that's where the haplogroups explosions happen. That's where the mutations and the admixtures happen. So you're no longer dealing with the C1. Now you got C1b and C1c and C1d. Now you got D1. Now you got all of these other haplogroups that are exploding in Asia, and then they make it to North America. So there's differences between us, and it's not saying that it's better or worse or anything like that. It's just to basically highlight that for you. And then when you're talking about them being your ancestors, that's why I was talking about the DNA, because do you have C1, C1b? If you do, sure, that's your ancestor. But if you're not even trying to figure it out, I feel like the transatlantic slave trade will be more conducive to your lineage than something that happened 10,000 BCE.
Okay, so
and I'll just land there.
Appreciate you for bringing her on. I'm gonna just correct her on something. Yeah, I'm speaking real quick. I'm responding to the sister.
And then I'm gonna respond to you right after that.
No problem, man.
I want to get in here too, y'all. I want to get in here too.
That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. Y'all got it. Sorry, ain't going nowhere far as I know. So check this out, right? Let me correct her on something. Share my screen, sa.neter, real quick. She wrong about Africa Bambaataa, man. Africa Bambaataa, guess what? He wore the feathers all the time, because guess what he said? That the Black man, we talking about the hip-hop Black man, the one you just talked about with the African drums, that he's the original Native American too. That's why I'm saying I don't know if somebody trying to rewrite history or nothing, but the Africa Bambaataa that I know is not what you mentioned. In fact, it was very, very normal for Black people to wear Indian feathers in early hip-hop. I don't know what you talking about. Talking about we ain't claiming Native American stuff and then using Africa Bambaataa. Chill with that. I'm showing you right now, he's not cultural appropriating, right? He's saying that the Black man was the first man everywhere. He's being greedy with it. I like that. He ain't letting no other group say that they was nowhere first. And I don't know
who is that you showing? Who is that you showing?
Hold on. Africa Bambaataa wore Indian feathers all the time. Let's not trip on the Indian feathers that was worn by Bambaataa. The fact, sa.neter, you from New York, you ought to know this. Look at here, man. This was a thing. Come on, you ought to know that. Our folks didn't say that we weren't the Native Americans. Why you think they took the Indian off the redskin hat? Come on now. So my whole thing is this right here. The sister just said it. If you got C1 in you, then cool. But that's what I was saying. you don't know who people are. You will have to go around and say, show me your papers, right? And then people will have to go in a room, do all that. And guess what? Even if a person say, well, I haven't done the research, guess what? If the people that was the first people here were Africans that mixed in with other groups, that's still my African brother. See, because guess what? If a brother come among me right now and he say, Brother Sanchez, I'm an African, but I'm mixed with, my daddy is a goddamn Laos dude, but my mama, she from Nigeria, right? I'm gonna say, bro, you an African, man. You still my brother, dog. I ain't really picking on people because they mixed and shit. Now, a lot of FBAs may do that. That ain't what I'm on. What I'm on is everybody that's calling themselves black and live in America coming together with one political agenda, no matter if they Democrat, Republican, Pan-African, FBA, Christian, Nation of Islam, Hebrew Israelite. We too divided. Now, maybe I'm wrong about this part. Maybe I'm wrong that FBA is the group to get us all together on one political agenda. But I don't think I'm wrong about that. I think it's very powerful. I think if everyone get on board with this leveraging the votes on a political level, we're going to really see what these people made of and if our vote is really powerful. I'm a firm believer in that. So when it comes down to why I'm behind the FBA thing, which is why we're here today, I think that when it comes to politics, the people who can relate to the first black people that was here should have a voice at politics. And even Tucker Carlson feel that way too, because I'm sure y'all saw the viral clip, but forget them white folks anyway. But anyway, that's my whole thing. I think that all black folks that live in America should have a unified political agenda. We're leaving everything else aside. And I would argue with y'all, I would say FBA is the best template for that right now.
Yes, Sanchez. Africa Bambaataa and his crew did not represent nothing on Native Americans. So what?
Thank you.
Only thing I was saying,
hold on. So what? They may have wore feathers. That's just for advertisement and showing. That was just for just showing stuff. That's it. But they did not represent no Native American. You didn't hear Africa Bambaataa one time say anything about Native American. He talked about Africa though.
But watch this, the sisters was saying something about cultural appropriating. When you say he's just
no, I never said that. I never said that.
Hold on, let me.
Can I get my response, please?
You got to have patience, brother. You hear me, sa.neter speaking to me right now and correcting me on Bambaataa. This is a lesson in hip hop that I need. I'm an MC. So my thing is this. I thought that when I saw artists wearing leopard, that was dealing with the Jaguar of North America, like our Native American roots. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I remember a hip hop where the black man claimed the indigenous roots to every land. I remember that at one point. And there's a video even of us being the first Asians to start civilization in Asia. I forgot this teacher name, but it's a classic one. So maybe all of these old teachers weren't right. He's one of them, but there was another one did a verified presentation. I'll pull it up. It's called Sambo, the Black God of Asia, showing that the first Buddhas was of the black man. So it made me proud to know that my presence, even if you was mixed, because the white man will look at us today. He don't care if you a mixed nigga, you still a nigga. So my thing is, if that's true and y'all say it too as Pan-Africans, let's reclaim our legacy in all these lands. I ain't got no problem with niggas reclaiming Africa, Egyptian history, but I'm saying let's do that too with the land where we live at too, because I believe that the Negro was the first one here and that the statue that I presented earlier is my ancestor, regardless of if he's mixed or not, because I still look at Africans who's mixed as my brothers too. I'm still a diasporan.
Right. That's why he called himself Africa Bambaataa.
I'm with it for sure, but he wouldn't deny a brother like Sa, like what you said. There still was some blacks who was here before the Mayflower. I don't think Bambaataa be mad at that. He'll say that's another testament of our rich history everywhere.
Mm-hmm. All right, sister, you want to respond?
Yes, I wanted to respond really fast. I'm sorry, God Energy. I just wanted to say, like, feathers are universal, and so is the leopard. Like, when you go into African history, a lot of the chiefs, you will have to hunt a leopard because they saw the leopard as one of the elusive hunters that can hunt from trees, that can hunt from the ground. They're just dynamic creatures. So everywhere you see this reverence for leopards. You also see this reverence for feathers, right? Feathers are universal. So you can't just look at feathers and say, oh, that's Native American. That's one. Secondly, I'm not stopping anybody's ancestry. As a foundational Black American myself, I have a whole lot of admixture in me. I'm Scottish, right? I'm Irish. I'm indigenous American. I'm African. I'm all of these things. So I'm never going to tell you not to do that either. But what I will say is trying to superimpose my history, because I have a very specific history in this country. I do. And trying to superimpose that on an indigenous sister that has a colonized story as well would be disrespectful to the indigenous sister. And that's what I'm trying to stop our Black people from doing, from imposing ourselves on their history when we have our own. And I'm down with you with trying to figure out that history. And I'll land there.
And sa.neter, I'll just say this, and I'll land too. I don't think it's superimposition. It's about me saying that ain't no such thing as their history and my history. We share a history as a people. Once you identify as my people, I feel like I share history with the Africans. See, I don't agree with all the FBA people. I feel like we share history as a people who Black no matter where the hell you at in this world. And I don't think we should start saying, well, that's your history and my history. Because if your history is rooted in the same oppression mine is in your land, then an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere, and we all got the same common enemy. So when we say that FBA is divisive, I would beg to differ, because FBA is saying the opposite of what you're saying. We're saying, look, I got a history, you got a history that may be unique, but we all share a history as diasporans. I don't think FBA is trying to detach from the diaspora. I think they just trying to have an identity to be able to compete politically in America too. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother story. I'll just land right there, sa.neter, because I know you want to move forward.
God energy, go ahead, brother.
Oh man.
Peace, y'all. Yeah, the leopard skin, you could trace that through Africa. You could even trace that up into Turkey in Neolithic times. You could see it, the Amen priesthood, right? That was a symbol that they wore, the leopard skin. The Zulus today still continue that African tradition and wear the leopard skin. And actually, you can see it's largely part of the wider Bronze Age cultic system. That's why you can call remembrance to the jaguar cat skin cult in the Americas, or the tiger cat skin cult of Hinduism that you can see Krishna adorned with, right? So it's not even particular to the leopard skin. Largely, these ancient peoples had a cult revolving around the cat skin, and they picked the big cat of their area, whether it be the leopard in Near East, whether it be the tiger in the Far East, or whether it be the jaguar in the Americas. So that's more of a fashion of the time. And I do think it does speak to all of their melanated ancestry to that point. And I do know the extensive history on Asians arising Africans arising in Asia. The geneticist, Chinese geneticist, Quan Chi Chang, actually worked on the phylogenetic research to show that the DNA of Chinese people show that they have African ancestry, right? But that doesn't mean during slavery, a group of Africans get brought to China, and then that now that enslaved group of Africans can say they are descended from the Black Chinese. That's not true. And that's what's happening with FBA. You can point to an ancestral Black Aboriginal population in the Americas, but we are not related to that group. And it is through the haplogroups where you can say that. I don't need to know you personally to know you are not related to them, because the genetic evidence will show that. Most African American males are of the E haplogroup. That's due to the Bantu expansion. Right, so that shows our West African ancestry, right? It is this C haplogroup or X haplogroup that you would expect to see in African American males if we were descended from those Aboriginal Americans, because the genetic work has been done. And it even confirms the work of David McRitchie in his work right here, Ancient and Modern Britons. Right, so what it says here, I'm going to read from page 8, continuing to 9 in Ancient and Modern Britons, quick source. It says, Mr. Samuel Lang, in his interesting revelations of the Katnissis, that's a group of people living in Northern Britain, he said, imagines the earliest inhabitants of Northern Britain were approaching to a Negroid or Australian, rather to a Mongoloid or Asiatic type. He continues on, the Aboriginal Britons, most have more closely resembled the Australian or Tasmanian, rather than the Laplander or Eskimo. So what David McRitchie in Ancient and Modern Britons is citing from Samuel Lang is that the early inhabitants of Britain looked like an Australian or Tasmanian person. And you can see through this, the genetic evidence, through the phylogenetic research, it is this C haplogroup carried by the Aurignacian epipaleolithic peoples that you see in Melanesia, in the Australians. And it is the same C haplogroup that gets traced to the Americas. So the Black population of America is part of a superfamily that includes the Aurignacian Europeans, the Australians and Tasmanians, and the first inhabitants of the Americas. That's why the Olmec look like that. But it is Melanesian and Aboriginal Australian phenotypes. It is not us as an African-American, Bantu, Niger Kordofanian descended peoples. We are two different Black populations.
So right.
Yeah, I'm here.
Right?
I'm here. Hold on,
Sanchez. Let me respond to him.
How y'all keep skipping me, man? How y'all keep skipping me?
Hold on. He gotta respond. He gotta respond. But I gotta go to Humble after that. And then
because watch this, sa.neter. When the sister was speaking, I responded to her. Everybody get a little, back and forth with Sanchez.
Yes, sir.
And salutes to this brother God Energy. What I want to say to him is everything he just proved is that he subscribed to the out of Africa theory, and that according to the out of Africa theory, the first people here aren't the same Black group that we're saying is FBA. I get everything he's saying. He's been saying that the whole show. He just brought his receipts, which is good. I'm not pushing back at him on that per se. I think he's missing my point here. When I say that when he say that we're a super family, he's telling me we're not the same, but he's still calling it my family. Now, here's the contradiction. When FBA say we're not the same, that was an ethnogenesis, and we ain't the same group, people will call us Africans, as if they know whether or not we got the C1 haplotype. The sister said she don't know. You got to actually go do the research. I agree with that. I don't think you can go by a theory to say who a person is, because they don't do that with no other group. Every other group in the world got to just do the due diligence and go through their genealogy. And you stopping people from doing that when you come with the theories, because they may not know who they are. You see what I'm saying? And what FBA is doing, we're saying, look, go and do your genealogy. You might not even be the first Black man in America. You may be an African. So FBA is being honest. It ain't telling people you are African because of the out of Africa theory. It's saying, look, brothers and sisters, Go and do your own research and genealogy, because you may be from Africa. Not all of us are, though, and it's something you want to know versus just believe through a theory. So that's why I say I'm not here to debate him on the out of Africa theory. I'm here to show why FBA is a relevant group, and ain't no one really going against that, which is why when I leave today, I'm a still rep FBA proudly, because I ain't here today to debate theories. I keep saying that. I'm here today to show you the best group in America for galvanizing black people with one political agenda, and y'all proving me right by keep debating me with theories instead of talking about solutions for our people. And we see where this country going with Trump and all this Venezuelan takeover in Greenland and stuff. So if you look at the title of the video, right, it don't got nothing about out of Africa theory or evolution. It's all about ICE and FBA. That's what I was on for real. Now, I don't mind debating y'all on that, but I literally showed up today to show all these other groups why y'all need to keep FBA out your mouth, because all y'all want to do is debate theories when FBA is saying, look, if you want to know who you is, go do your genealogy. In the meantime, let's come together and let's fight for this one agenda. So that's what I'm saying, and y'all proving me right, because black people want to prove you. Okay, let's say you right. We all come from Africa, and you right. We still got to come together as one group of people in America with a political agenda, which is why I'm going to ride with FBA all day. This panel going to make me double down on my FBA support. Can't nobody argue against the relevancy of FBA, and this show is proving it, y'all. I'm just saying.
All right. All right. Humble, what's up, brother?
Blessings, blessings. Oh, man. So, number one, I want to make 3 really quick points. I ain't going to take too long. Point number one, it is an absolute historical and genetic fact that the Olmec DNA is not West African or even East African. It is connected to Siberia and the Asian migration. That's a fact. That's not a theory, right? Number 2, he keeps showing this El Negro thing, right? And he keeps saying that this is our people. Now, y'all know how I rock. Hold on, let me get this real quick. Y'all know how I rock. So I had to just test it for myself and see what the brother was talking about. So y'all see, if I could tell, I got the picture right here that he was showing, right? Where it says on the thing, El Negro. So I was wondering, where was this name coming from? If this is such Olmec, right? Where are we getting the name El Negro from, right? And what I found out is the name El Negro is a nickname that the locals and the archaeologists gave that statue. That's not the real name of that statue. The original Olmec people would have knew the real name of that statue, but the El Negro is only a nickname because of the volcanic ash that is used that make it look black. Not because of the skin complexion of whatever that is. It's because of the volcanic ash. That's number 2. And number 3, I gotta agree with my brother on 1871. Charles Darwin made a bold prediction. He was the first one to say human life or human origins started in Africa. So the claims we're making are not theories. They are historical facts. And you can look these things up. Thank you for allowing me to speak, brother sa.neter.
All right, Saw, you know what we doing. We're going back and forth, Saw. Let me
Bomb squad in the building, man.
So watch this, Saw. Watch this. He said that Darwin's claims are facts. Darwin's claims are just that, claims. Until you prove the claims, it ain't a fact. I'm getting wind in the background, but check this out, right? He was right. Darwin had claims. And that's why the out of Africa theory is called the out of Africa theory, not the out of Africa fact. 2 + 2 being 4 is a fact. Darwin's claims can't be fully proven, which is why, in my opinion, they're just claims. Now, when he said that the statue was nicknamed El Negro, that's besides the point. Why didn't they nickname it El Caucasoid or El Mongoloid? Because they looked at the Negro features. Let me teach you something, dog. Let me share my screen one more time, sa.neter. Share my screen one more time. Here, go to the El Negro statue. Now, y'all, look at the lips and the nose and the damn high top fade. What other group you know got these features? Now, when they talk about
Monkey.
now watch this.
Can you read that
Bro, let me
tabloid?
speak. You gotta let me speak, brother. I let you speak, young man. Bum squad. I let y'all speak. Mute up, please. Mute up. Mute up. Mute up. Mute up. I got a question for y'all, and it's a very simple one. I want you to think about it. Show me the original American Negro man today. Where is he right now? Point to him. This statue right here, right? If it ain't the black man in America that I'm talking about right now, can you point me to the group? I'll pull them up right now on the screen. Tell me what to put in. That's all I want to know right quick before I can finish my spiel.
No such thing as that. There's no such thing as an original Negro.
Listen what I'm
In
asking you
America.
for. Listen what I'm
No,
asking you
there's
for.
no such thing for that.
Listen
That's
what I'm
what I'm
asking
saying.
you for. Listen what I'm asking you for one more time. If this statue don't represent Sanchez's people or what we call the African American, right?
You the monkey people then.
Right?
You the
Right?
monkey people?
Bro,
Is your people the monkey people?
You gotta let them speak.
Okay.
Let them
Okay.
speak. You next.
Okay. Okay.
All right. I want everybody to see what's going on. For them to get around what I'm asking them, because I'm asking them if this statue don't represent what we call FBA, show me the group it represent. And for him to get around that, he gonna go into monkey games. We're gonna deny that this is a human being we looking at.
Yeah, I had
Just
to
so
answer.
he don't, bro. I never can I just now come on, bro.
Yo,
I thought you asked, I thought he asked the question though.
Nah,
My
he
fault,
ain't
I
asking you a
apologize.
question, bro.
Bro, I'm about to land my plane. I know this burn. All I'm doing is saying, okay, y'all right. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's say the statue I'm looking at don't represent the black man in America, what we call the African American, right? Then point me to the group who it represents. We're going to pull them up so we can see who they are. And if you go into the monkey business, I feel like I won the debate, and I'm falling back right there.
Okay, let me answer the question, sa.neter. Look up the howler monkey. It's the black monkey. Okay,
Look
the
up
howler monkey.
the what?
The howler monkey. So the group that represents is a group of monkeys that these indigenous people in the Americas made part of their religious symbols. I want to talk to the bomb squad real quick. There was two things. They have not found Olmec DNA yet. I just want to put that out there. And I want to, so I want to get that straight. Then I want to get the part straight where God energy. That first migration out of Africa did not make it to the Americas. They actually died out in Asia, and they got the finds maybe 100,000 years ago. And actually, the first migration out of Africa was Homo erectus, and they made it to Asia. Okay, so you just want to clear everything up. We need to be precise in our speech and our language when we promoting scientific theory. So yes, Charles Darwin did have a scientific theory. The outer Africa is a scientific theory. Remember, scientific theories organizes the scientific facts. This is important. We should never get away from that. So Sanchez, I'm gonna ask you a question since you the question man. What is a scientific theory, sir? Can you explain what a scientific theory is? It's the litmus test. Go ahead.
Can you ask that question again, Unc? My
I
bad.
said, Sanchez, based off your conversation for years, I understand you don't know what a scientific theory is. So could you explain to the people what a scientific theory is so that we know that you're actually geared for the conversation?
I know what you're saying. I know what it is.
What is it? That's a question I asked.
I got you.
Yeah, I don't want to hear. You know what it is. I want to hear what it is.
And let me answer the
Okay,
question.
answer the question. Okay, but answer directly. Don't skate.
Okay,
don't jump.
You know what, brother?
Okay, sir.
I don't think you want me to answer it for real. You keep talking.
No. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. I just want to make sure.
This out. If you don't think that I know that they teach that a scientific theory doesn't mean a regular theory, and that a scientific theory can be a body of facts, I agree with everything you just explained. There is no debate about what a scientific theory is. The debate is, I don't agree with the people who are defining a scientific theory that way. I'm saying they're calling it a theory.
Yeah, that's not what I asked you, Sanchez. Please tell us what a scientific theory is, brother. That's all. I don't
Is
need all the
everything?
extra stuff. Just tell us
Listen,
what it is. Go ahead.
what
You can
they
read it
say
from
what it
somewhere,
is.
no problem.
I got you. I got you.
Okay,
I got you.
okay, okay.
But I don't want to read it from nowhere. Now, if you want me to, I'll do it.
I
But I
do. I
want
want you to read it.
I
Read
want
it
to
on
give you my.
Wikipedia.
Can I give you my definition, or
We
you
don't
want me
want
to give
we
you
don't
a
want your definition because your
all right,
definition can
all
be
right,
any definition you choose it to be.
all right,
We're not. Yeah, that would not be
all right.
scientific of
No, no,
us
no, no,
or
no, no, no,
scholarly.
no problem. We because
Thank you,
I
sir.
don't disagree with what theirs is. Here's the point. What
Okay, let's see if you don't.
let's read it.
All right, go
A
ahead, sir.
well-substantiated, comprehensive explanation of some aspect of the natural world built on a large body of evidence. Like I said, everything you were just saying from repeated, tested, and observation, and explains how or why phenomena occur and allows for testable predictions, distinguishing it from a mere guess or hunch. Now, I know that they teach that a scientific theory is that, but I'm telling you, I don't think that the claims they're making and calling scientific theories are based on evidence and facts. I'm calling a bluff. I'm saying, for example, what
So Sanchez, I just asked you a question, not for you to take over the mic, but for you to answer that
is my
question,
show,
and for me
though.
to.
You gonna
I know,
dictate how
but
I
listen,
answer it, though.
we
Fall
got
back
no.
and
I'm
let me
saying we
land my
gotta.
plane.
No, I'm saying we gotta have
Fall back and let me land my plane. I'm gonna establish authority right now. You're gonna fall back and let me land my plane. It ain't gonna
So you
take
basically saying
long.
in the middle
You're
of me
gonna
talking and
fall
ask you a
back
question,
and let
Just
me
let him
is that
land his
how they go?
land
I
my
just, hey, son,
plane.
I want to make sure that's how they go though.
No, just let him
You're
land
gonna
his
fall
plane. This
back
is his show. Let him go. Let him
because
land his
guess what,
plane.
brother?
He gonna end it real quick.
Right. I'm gonna be quick. I'm making it very simple. I'm telling you, I never disagred with you on what they say about a scientific theory. That's why I was telling you, can I tell you what I think a scientific theory is? And I got the right to challenge science. Like, this is like the Bible where you can't question God. You should be able to question science. It should welcome challenges and questions to it. That's what I'm saying. You're acting like a gate guard when science is supposed to welcome challenges. When someone say this is a scientific theory, is well substantiated, it's based upon all these facts we just read, and I say bullshit, I don't think that that's based upon no facts. That's all I'm saying. It ain't that I don't know what a scientific theory is. I'm challenging the theory that you're calling the out of Africa theory. You calling it a scientific theory don't just make it true. It just because they say it's true. I want to say, look, I got smoke for that. And you can't say, well, you ain't got no smoke because it's a well substantiated. Well, if it's well substantiated, you should have no problem proving it in a debate. You just can't put scientific on it and run behind that.
Are you finished?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, so I'm telling you, at no point can you, Sanchez, from YouTube and your channel, challenge the scientific theory. You may have convinced other people. One mic. You may have convinced other people they can do that. I'm telling you, you are outside of the field. You do not have the credentials to say what's a scientific theory and what is not. Modern science has established on planet Earth. In the hills of Africa, you have scientists, black scientists, indigenous people that have got degrees in science and evolutionary biology. In Kenya, you got evolutionary biologists that's born and raised and speak the language. In Australia, in Mesoamerica, you have people of color that understand science, and they have established hundreds of years, at least 200 years, that the theory of evolution is a scientific theory, and scientific theories aren't to be played with by everyday regular people like me and you. So at no point, you may have convinced your audience that you can challenge it, but nobody that sits at the foundation of world powers, that sits at the foundation of education would ever listen to that. That makes no sense. It only makes sense to the pseudos and the pseudo audience. Nobody sitting on here has the scientific data nor the scientific rigor to challenge any scientific theory. You're just talking at this point. So once again, why would you challenge a well-substantiated, well-organizing of the facts with just talking from YouTube, brother? That's
now
my
watch
point.
this. Now watch this right, y'all. Watch this right. It ain't just talking from YouTube. When I make a claim, it's based upon evidence and research, which is why I told Unc, let's schedule a debate. Unc said that the statue I put up was a monkey, right? I want to challenge him to it. Let me speak. Sa.neter, here's my guarantee to Sa.neter. He can lock in on this one. you got me locked in with a debate with Unc sa.neter when it comes to the El Negro statue being a monkey or a man. That's the debate, monkey or man. That's that one statue. I'm gonna show you lied today. You agree with that?
Yeah, and throw the out of Africa theory in there for giggles and
Not for
kicks.
now, not for now, but I want to say something else for now. We're gonna set that up because
I'm saying, but throw that in there. Yeah, but throw that in there too for giggles.
Just that one. But we'll deal with that on the phone with Sa. We'll set
No
it up.
problem, no problem, brother. Go ahead.
All right, let me move on. Let me move on. Apostle, go ahead.
Can
My last line.
I speak sa.neter too? Because I haven't spoke for a minute.
No, I haven't spoken for a minute. So stop it.
He didn't let me address.
I only spoke once.
All right, hold on.
Brother,
I saw him out. Big up to the bomb squad. I'm out.
He just called on my name.
Apostle, I'm gone. I'm just saying I'm gone. Big up to the bomb squad, man. I appreciate your work. Keep fighting. I'm out.
All right. Everybody chill. Sanchez, you was closing out on something?
I'm gonna just say one more thing and be quick for Apostle. He said you can't challenge science. If that's the truth, then science wouldn't be able to evolve. He believed in a globe earth, right? But they teach in history that Galilee challenged the church in order for them to bring forth the globe earth, right? So I'm just gonna throw that in there. He debunking himself. You got to be able to challenge science. Science got to be humble and say we don't know everything and all that. But see, then he make it a religion. But go ahead, Apostle. My bad.
Thanks, man. Sai, share my screen. I know I can do it, but I'm asking you to do it. You did it?
Yes, your screen sharing.
All right. According to Ivan Van Sertima, what are the origins of the Olmec's head? It's supposed to be head in America. Ivan Van Sertima theory posits that the Olmec is a pre-Columbian civilization in Americas, were influenced by African civilizations, particularly the Nubians. He argues that the first contact between Nubians and Olmecs occurred in 700 BC, leading to the culture exchange and the spread of ideas and practices. Ivan Van, let me see where am I, and practices, where am I at? Van Sertima's work has been influenced in the African American community, but it has been largely ignored by mainstream Mesoamericans. Critics have pointed out that no genuine African artifact have been found in the New World. Archaeology excavations, and the Olmec's heads are not African, but rather indigenous to the region. The theory has been described as an Afrocentric pseudo-archaeology. Pseudo-history suggests that it robs Native Americans' cultures of their rightful history.
Good stuff.
Yeah, but I still agree with Van Sertima. I'm aligned with him and not with them. Because when you look at their helmets, they are exact to the Nubian culture. When you look up the Nubian warriors, they wear the same helmet. And also, half of them hair is braided. I don't know about Mesoamericans braiding their hair. Maybe they did. I don't know. I know the Nubians did. But that's the answer I got when I asked about Ivan Van Sertima. So thanks for allowing me to share.
Can I holler at
the rest of you guys? Thank you for allowing me to speak. If you notice, I'm trying to turn a new leaf and not just jump out there like people are still doing, although they're not being called on.
All right,
Apostle, I appreciate what you just did, Apostle. Hey, Sa, I don't need but 10 seconds, I swear.
Go ahead.
Because he went in, man. Appreciate that, Apostle. Look, Apostle, check this out. When you talk about the braids, here go the interesting thing. Now, this is just a theory. I want to be honest. This is just me theorizing. We call braids cornrows. And if you look at the braids, they look like corn on a cob, and they are put in the head just the way that we grow corn in America. It's a reason we call them cornrows. The Native Americans were like the experts in corn harvesting in this land. I'm saying we do see statues in America with braids, and we do call them cornrows. Corn is very prevalent in this land, and the hairstyle may be us mimicking the crop. That's just a theory. I'm gonna put it out there. Go ahead, sa.neter.
Asiatic 777. Who you calling goofy? I let that slide because it's a sideshow. I don't know who you calling goofy. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Okay. I'm ready to close out. I gotta have Sanchez.
Can I say something?
We've been here for a minute. Go ahead and say something, Seven.
I just wanted to say something to my brother Sanchez, whom I really like. You know, I like you, brother Sanchez, but you know, you remind me a little bit of Inky. But I think there's something you have that's better than
bullshit.
You.
Who is that? Who said?
Oh, shit, my bad. I apologize. My mic was.
Go ahead.
Okay. What I'm saying is that when you speak, your voice sounds very reasonable. You have a very reasonable voice, but then your speech is unreasonable.
Who you talking about?
My brother Sanchez.
Okay.
Because he's been presented with a lot of tested, well-organized body of facts. And when he makes a statement like, well, I disagree with that because I'm challenging it. But you're not challenging it with a well-bodied, organized facts. What you're challenging it with is a bunch of hypotheses that you've made up by a small collection of facts that you align with, right? And that's not a true challenge to a well-organized body of facts. This is why you remind me of Inky in that way. And secondly, I want to talk about how you want to. I think that you are being really genuine when you want to unite yourself with all different types of people because you adhere to that out of Africa theory that we're all Africans. But you also are ignoring the data that they're showing you with the mixtures and the mutations, and you're ignoring that data, and you're not, once again, bringing a well-organized body of facts to contest to that, because it's about how you feel and not about the facts. And you also discount the people who actually have their own lineage, want to protect their own lineage, and when you try to claim their lineage, that they should be okay with you claiming it because we're all the same. Not everybody's going to feel like that, brother. And this is why you get a lot of pushback. And this is part of the reason of why I think FBA causes division, because you'll infringe on people's lineage. You'll ignore body of facts, right? You'll contend in opposition with no real claim or information to do so, and it's causing confusion in our community. And what it is, it sounds like a lot of people just trying to. I'm closing right now. Yeah, I was just about to end. Right before he said something, I was just about to end. I was going to say that it's creating confusion amongst our community, and it creates a group of people who wants to stay in this lane because people don't want to agree with it.
All right, so let me respond to that so we can get on close to getting on up out of
I got to get the sister real quick too before.
So let me hit him up and then we'll get the. So let me holler at the brother real quick. I hear the sister in the background. Hold up, sister. Let me holler at him real quick.
That's Apostle.
Oh, okay. So check this out, brother. When you said that we're ignoring the fact that the people here that were mixtures and mutations, no, I think you're being divisive. You're trying to separate us from brothers who are mixed and stuff. Sa.neter mixed. Sa.neter is part FBA and he's part diaspora and he's, I think, Caribbean, we established earlier. But check this out, right? I told sa.neter, bro, you're still FBA. You're the one being divisive because FBA is saying all of us ain't from here, man. It's only the people. What they're doing is saying the people who from here, then you're part of the FBA lineage. You know, that's it. And the other groups may say, well, yeah, I'm black too, like you, my FBA brother, but I'm Jamaican. You know what I'm saying? And a Jamaican brother can actually support the black agenda on a political level, right? And still be a part of this FBA thing. No one calling everyone a tether. We're saying that if you don't want to be part of black people coming together in America for one agenda, then guess what? What are you doing? Now, another point that you made, so we can wrap this up. You said that I haven't presented no facts. Brother, for me to present the facts, I would have to give you my DNA test and all that. I told Unc, let's set up a debate and let's prove that the statue he said is not a black man, is a monkey. So he haven't presented no facts that statue is a monkey. I haven't presented no facts that it's a black man other than it got a high top fade and it looked like a black man. So I'll give you that. So we're both going to show up with the debate with our presentations and you can just sit back and watch. But to say I haven't presented no facts, of course I haven't. We ain't here today to debate out of Africa theory. It's about FBA. Y'all keep forgetting that, which is why I told sa.neter we can do another show about El Negro and the out of Africa theory. Why would I change the title of my show to something else when I'm here to talk about the relevancy of FBA? And guess what, by the way, no one really dealt with that. Y'all ran to the out of Africa theory, which is why I'm telling you FBA gonna keep growing, because y'all just want to debate about monkeys and stuff when our people ready to come together with solutions politically. You can close out, sa.neter.
All right, thank you. Sister, I'm gonna pass you the mic. You hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, before I give you the mic, I need you to go to the private chat. You know how to get to the private chat,
right? Yeah, I think so. Last time it dropped me off the panel when I was trying to look at it.
Go ahead, try to get to it again. You can always jump back on.
Okay, no problem. Let's see.
You see it? Are you on your phone?
No. Yeah, I'm on my phone. I'm not on the computer.
Hey, sa.neter, I'm a hop off right quick, sa.neter. But I appreciate you so much, man. Oh yeah.
Thank you. Hey, sis.
But if you send me a message, I'll definitely answer it after the thing, because I'm on my phone.
Yeah, I was putting my number in that you can get it. But,
okay. Yes, I see it.
All right. Yeah, that's my number. Hit me up when
okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
All right. That's my number. Make sure you get it out. Go ahead, sis.
So first, I want to acknowledge that Brother Sanchez wasn't here to talk about the out of Africa theory. I want to acknowledge that because I also have a problem with FBA's basically supporting ICE, supporting immigration. Those are not Black people problems. Those are white people population problems. We need to stay up out of that. But at the same time, I do not feel like we should be advocating for the removal of people of color, because it's really just helping white people. So I agree with you there. And I want to apologize for, I missed your presentation. So I came in when the conversations was about the migration and all of that stuff. So I want to apologize for that. With all of that being said, the conversation is what it is and we are where we are. And as far as like how the out of Africa theory works, I feel like we're having a couple of different conversations within this conversation. We're having an evolution conversation where you keep on referencing if we came from monkeys. We're having out of Africa conversation where we're talking about migration patterns and what was the first hablo group that got here. And then we're having a conversation about the transatlantic slave trade that deals with us as foundational Black Americans. That's three different conversations that we kind of blended into one. So I feel as though I would love to have this conversation with you and we could pick a subject, because when I say that, you have African in your DNA, I'm talking about the transatlantic slave trade. We ain't got to go all the way back to out of Africa. When I'm talking about the haplogroups and what people came here, who came here first, I'm talking about the out of Africa, and we're talking about haplogroups. And if you ever want to have a conversation about how we don't evolve from monkeys, right, and that we talk about the last common ancestor, I would love to have that conversation with you too. And I'm done. It was nice meeting you, by the way.
All right, thank you, family. We out of here. Thanks to everybody, man. We out of here. Peace.
Yeah. You broke a check in a month.
Give me a call right away.
Yeah. Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke? Yeah. Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke?
Temperatures going up, the heat is rising. Scholars are showing up, audience vibing. We on a mission, competition is the only desire. Whose information will be facing the unmerciful fire. So what's up, stand up, can you walk through hell? So tough, too tough for the weak, soft shell. Set the fire, fan the flame, smoke is rising in plumes. While the inexperienced debater starts to choke on the fumes. Bring your science, bring your wisdom, even bring us your religion. If you cannot stand the heat, then please don't come in the Paul's kitchen. It's a session, learn a lesson, fighting, overcome your fear. Who will be the best debates by the time all the smoke clears?
Who wants to smoke? Who wants to smoke? Yeah, The HOK is the toughest environment. And are at your own risk is the toughest environment. The HOK is the toughest environment. Yeah, stay strong, don't cry. It's the toughest environment. Yeah. No handouts here. You have to earn your respect. And when you do, you make they ass regret. They call it the toughest. And the title is earned from the bridges we crossed and the lessons we learned. In a cool-blooded kingdom, a concrete cage. Muslim, Christian, Israelites step on the stage. I dare you, I dare you, I dare you, I dare you. In a cool-blooded kingdom, sa.neter created. HOK, where you can't fake it. The HOK is where you fight back. No room for error, no window attack. It's a masterclass, how you handle the heat. Where the pedigree is written on the concrete streets. Toughest environment, yeah, we know the score. Locked in on debate and asking for more. The HOK is the toughest environment. And at your own risk is the toughest environment.